Ever since I was a young boy, I've played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like it in any amusement hall. These arcade, console, and handheld games sure suck for playing pinball. Hello, Charky. Hello, Johnny.
Hey, Cass.
No.
Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the Bad Game Hall of Fame. Welcome to the Painful Pinball Show. This is the one in which we play the bad pinball video games. This is one that's been cooking for a minute. This is one that Charky streamed for the Discord a while back, and that I've been wanting to push to a program status, and so here we are. Turns out there's a lot of bad pinball video games out there. Were you aware of this?
Yeah, I have played some of them. Although looking at the list you've put together, I have missed a lot of them too.
Yeah, this first episode here, because spoilers, is going to be a multi-part series, because it turns out there's a lot of bad pinball video games. But this first episode, because we like to do the chronological order, this is going to cover some of the earliest pinball to digital pinball games. Some of the history of the pinball scene will be presented here in slideshow history form. And then some of the most classic, some of the most primitive pinball devices will be featured on here. Disclaimer, when it comes to some of the older historic ones, they are bad by modern standards, but we will bear in mind that, you know, in 1979, circa the 70s and early 80s, these were innovative, these were cutting edge, these were the first of their kind. And so if we poke fun at them, if we jeer and make fun of them, it's out of love, it's out of respect, unless they really suck, in which case, you know, burn it to the ground. But we will see in due time. Before we get to that, let me just go down the table here, starting with you, Charky. What is your familiarity with pinball as a whole? Your passion for it, if you will.
All right. I'm either going to prove it or embarrass myself. Is the song we have playing in the background from Funhouse?
Yes, it is.
All right, excellent. I love pinball.
Very good. You would have had to have said you hated pinball if you got it wrong, so you saved yourself there.
I'll be specific. I love video pinball, mostly because there's just nowhere around here to play pinball, like on a physical machine. There is, I think there is like a pinball club, but I think it's like invite only.
Elitist pricks.
It's some weird exclusive thing around here. So I grew up playing video pinball games like a Pokemon pinball and like the really kind of fantasy ones, right? Your Sonic Spinball, etc. And then later in life, I got into Pinball FX / Zen Pinball, the Pinball Arcade before they lost their license to pretty much everything. I'm not good at pinball, but I really like playing it.
That's fair. How about you, Johnny? What's your pinball history?
Yeah, so growing up and still to this day, there was not really physical pinball tables around me, so I've always been into into virtual pinball, especially when it can get, you know, far and beyond what real tables do. But definitely Pokemon Pinball, Game Boy, growing up, and then getting into some of the PS1, PS2 stuff. But I've always been a big fan, but it's definitely digital only for me as well, funnily enough. Just that's how it works out.
That's interesting, and I guess that's what makes this format perfect, because we are going to be showcasing the worst of the digital pinball. And where I come at it from is that I've always had pinball tables around in the vicinity at the arcades and in places I have lived. We even had a pinball machine in the house that I played as a child. Don't know how I got it. It was like not like any of the major cabinets. In fact, it was like a kidified version. You could turn it into a basketball hoop and skee ball. It's one of those, but I distinctly remember hours spent hitting those flippers, playing the pinball, and I was never good at it. Where I stand now on pinball is that I am dog shit terrible at it. I am straight to the gutter. I drain balls like no one's business. Rephrase that. I'm not good at it. I can appreciate the artistry. I can appreciate the craft. I cannot comprehend what separates a good pinball player from a bad pinball player. As far as I'm concerned, it's pure luck. I think all this shit is a scam, a hoax.
It's all about having a supple wrist.
Apparently. And hopefully my wrists will get me through some of the games I have to play tonight. We'll be taking turns.
By the way, I just wanted to point out, I like how all three of us had a different name for the types of pinball games we're playing tonight. You said digital pinball, I said video pinball, and Johnny said virtual pinball.
But not one of us called it flipper, which is what some countries call pinball. This as a whole is this flipper. We'll get into that in the history section. Before the history section, let me just pinball look at this comment from Video Game King in chat. A thought arises, what was the earliest fully digital pinball table, fully digital digital pinball video game, try saying that 3 times fast, folks, to be released in arcades? We will get to it. We have it on the list. We will feature it. Mm-hmm. And with that...
You know what else we feature on this show?
Yes, precisely. What do we feature, Sharky?
Oh, it's a little something called Sharky's Stream Snack. Alright, tonight's stream snack is Savannah Classics Sweet Corn Hush Puppies. Had these before during our Enter the Matrix episode. One of them, I think the second one, and we're finally going to finish it tonight. They're good. They're Hush Puppies. And you know what? I picked them because they're the closest snack I have to pinballs. They're little, they're round, they're golden brown and crispy. Just like a pinball.
I just have a bag of metal spheres here. That's what I'll be chomping down on, and I thought that was really in tune with the program tonight. So one of us is more committed than the other.
Yeah. And our drink tonight is Alani Nu Orange Kiss. Now, Alani does have... Let me get that crack in there. There we go. Alani does have like an orange creamsicle. So you would think that would cover their bases for orange, but they decided to go with Orange Kiss too. Now I don't see any hidden cherries on this packaging like the last Alani, so let's see what it is. I don't know where that sends. It sends in 5 different directions.
Just choke it down with this drink. Just swallow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe this energy drink will help me form sentences. You know what? If you put this in front of me and said, is this the same drink as the orange creamsicle one? I'd say like, yeah. Now, is that bad? No. It's orange. It's an orange soda. I like an orange soda. I love an orange soda. But why is this different? I don't know. But that does it for my stream snack.
Very good. All right. We fade that graphic. Vince Vodka Cheese, one of my other favorite dishes, vodka cheese, in chat asks, am I in time for some funny pinball? Unfortunately not. You're in time for the history section, the very dry history section we provide at the top of the show, and then we will get to the funny pinball. Though, I think this is interesting. This is a section I've put together, if I don't mind patting myself on the back here, because I didn't write most of this, at least not this first part we're going to read, this history of pinball as a concept, as a game, as an amusement. This is actually, what you're seeing on the screen here is a screenshot of a help document for the 1999 PC pinball game 3D Pinball Express, which features a history of pinball. This is a game that is on the list as a bad pinball game. In fact, it might be one of the worst. But this history section included on the disc is actually very interesting, very comprehensive. It was written by one Jay Gross, and the title of this article is Tilt Flipped on Pinball. So I'm going to be cribbing from it. I have cut it down a little bit, but this should provide us a decent little history of pinball leading up to the digital age, leading up to the point.
By the way, Webfoot, some of you may recognize as the developers of Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu on the Game Boy Advance.
Aren't they Legacy of Goku?
That too.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, Taiketsu is the bad one, is the
Yes,
very bad one
it's
that will,
the very bad one.
which will surely feature on this show, on this program one day. But for now, I got so much reading to do. Why do I do this to myself? All right, we'll play some ambient noise in the background as well as I read from Jay Gross's History of Pinball. This photo, by the way, is of the Village Arcade in St. Peter's Village, Pennsylvania. Image comes courtesy of Retro Roadmap, which features a rundown of some arcades that this particular writer has visited, so I like to credit that whenever I can. And so it goes. Before bumpers, before tilt penalties, before extra balls, even pinball in its most rudimentary form was a gravity-driven bar-top game called Bagatelle. It didn't light up, scoring was far from automatic, and nothing, absolutely nothing, animated. Then the fun begins, and continued. The fun of pinball continues to this day, with some pauses through the years. Nowadays, pinball games light up and up and up. They ring, gong, knock, and whistle. They play musical ditties. They laugh, they taunt, and they scream. They keep multiple scores with arrays of lights that animate like a miniaturized scoreboard for a major stadium. They still suck down coins or tokens, as pin games have always done, even the early ones, and if you push them too hard, they tilt. Early pinball games, early pinball machines, like Bagatelles, had only one way to rack up scores. Launched into the playfield by a cue-stick-looking device, a marble-sized ball dropped through a selection of holes labeled with numbers. Wherever it dropped, that was the score. Game over. Drop another penny, no kidding, 1 cent, and play again. Around the scoring holes, arrangements of nails, pins, could bounce the ball into or away from the hole. These gave pinball its name. Dating from the late 19th century, bagatelles turned coin-operated and became quite popular in the 20s. The first pinball machine followed in 1930. Its creator, a Chicago entrepreneur named David Gottlieb, that's a familiar name, bought the rights to produce Bingo, a coin-operated bagatelle. He sold some of those, then made his own version of the game, calling it Baffle Balls. The game operated on pennies, giving 7 balls per play. It was flat, no backglass, about 16 by 24 inches, and at $17.50, it sold 50,000 units in 1931 alone. Quite a popular item, even by today's pin game standards. From 1930 on, manufacturers have added complications to the game to make play more fun and more enticing. Each time something big was added, bumpers in 1936, the larger balls of today's size in 1940, flippers in 1947, every time the game enjoyed a new burst of popularity. Many early pin games were gambling-oriented, as the bagatelles had been or could be even if they weren't allowed to be. One style of pin game, the bingo board machine, still is. No bumpers or flippers, just 25 numbered holes that the balls drop into, lighting up numbers on the back glass. Odds can be increased by depositing more coins or tokens, and combinations of lit numbers ring up free games, which can usually be swapped for cash at the counter. Not much in the way of action. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound like maybe pachinko, as we know it today? Is this still around in a particular country? Over the years, the pin game industry took care of both sides of the gambling issue, often releasing duplicate versions of their games, one that paid off and one that didn't. Early battery-powered games reserved most of their power to dispense actual coin payouts, so there wasn't much of a light show during play. Plug-in models originated around 1935. The invention of extra balls in 1960 brought the joy of pinball to many deprived people because free games were considered payoffs in many states, but extra balls were not. The big thrill in pinball came in the 1970s when the rock opera Tommy appeared. Tommy's main character, the pinball wizard, deaf, dumb, and blind kid, always gets a replay, so the song said. The Tommy game sold 10,000 units alone, and its imitators racked up many more. A 1977 machine, Bally's 8-Ball, sold 20,000 machines. In 1978, pin game companies couldn't make the games fast enough to keep up with the demand for their products. Pinball, including games named Tommy, was virtually the national pastime till the Space Invaders invaded electronically. Video games began in 1973, and by 1980 were cutting into pinball's territory. Electronic circuitry, however, brought on many improvements like electronic scoring, talking pinball games, the first of which is noted here as Williams' Gorgar in 1979. digitized music and sound in a dazzling light show. These have kept the old silver ball a-rollin' in spite of video games' alluring eye. Electronic scoring was much faster and imminently more responsive than mechanical score wheels, too. The industry found out early on that multiplayer pinball was more popular than onesies. It even tried 6-player units, but the public liked 2- and 4-player machines best. Video games like Pac-Man and its many similes started gobbling up the coin-operated entertainment business in the 80s. Even so, the day of the silver ball is not gone, as manufacturers have taken advantage of the very electronic circuits that threaten them to make incredibly fast, action-aplenty games with light-up scoring panels, animated displays, music, and digitized sound. The playfields have multiple levels, first done in 1980, spinners, drop targets, up posts, and everything else a game designer can imagine, and one thing more a video game can never have: feel. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, like the feel of a real pinball machine. But if you can't have one in your living room, maybe you can make do with an electronic simulation like Cosby and Webfoot's 3D Pinball Express.
Perfect.
Pinball forever, or maybe even a little longer. And so concludes...
Now that you've concluded that, may I add a little bit of history of my own?
Please.
Something that's not mentioned there, and I don't see in the notes. There was a time in America, about 30 years, I think, from around the 1940s to the 1970s, where in a lot of major cities, pinball was outlawed.
Oh, it's part of the gambling. They mentioned the gambling thing.
Mentioned the gambling, but even with like flippers and games of more skill, they were still seen as gambling machines. So it wasn't, super strictly enforced, but like in Chicago alone, they took out like 2,000 machines when the ban started. I think I have my numbers right. Yeah. And like pinball began to be seen as like something for delinquents, and it was like ruining the morals and like the youth of America. In fact, when John F. Kennedy was running for president, Republicans tried to smear him by presenting a photo of him playing pinball. Because that was going to be a scandal. It eventually did get overturned. They brought in the Amusement and Music Operators Association brought in like a
regulating body.
Yeah, brought in like the top pinball player in America to Manhattan courtroom where they're going to talk about overturning the bill or not. And he had to convince them that it was a game of skill, not chance. And he says, look, there's skill, because if I pull the plunger back just right, the ball will, I hope, go down this particular lane. And he did it, and he got it in one. And
perfect.
Maybe if he didn't get it in one, they wouldn't have overturned that bill, but he called that shot, and pinball became legal again in New York.
Very good.
There was a period of time where this was the devil's game.
There's a few instruction manuals to accompany some of these games that do make mention of the seedy establishments where one would play pinball, where they talk about how, people may be scared off of playing pinball because of the reputation that the pinball halls had. So we'll get to some of those. I highlighted one in particular that is very amusing to me. But hopefully that bit of history is appreciated. Hopefully you learned something or had what you knew reinforced in some capacity if you're already a pinball pro, a pinball wizard, if you will. And now we can start getting to some of the games.
I want to quickly mention as well, just to add on
please.
to that history as well. For anyone who's not seen what a Bagatelle pinball machine looks like, it is very much like the Lucky Hit games from the Shenmue series, just with a plunger. And now that I've looked at it, I've realized I've actually played one of these old school, like pin-based pinball ones, where it is almost like pachinko. But yes, like Shenmue's Lucky Hit, to bring it back to video games, is the direct comparison. Or that Super Mario Sunshine level.
Yeah.
To bring it back to games.
I actually made a Bagatelle at one point for a woodworking class I was taking in high school.
Yeah.
They had you construct a board and put the nails in to act as the pins and all that. Mine wasn't very good, but I made it, and that's what counts. I got the grade. Now, we should probably look at the first attempt to digitize pinball, and that's going to come in 1974. This is Atari's own Pong. This is a, screenshot here on the right. The left is a cabinet, obviously. There's not much footage of this game. I found a video. This is by BlindDog44 on YouTube. You can see the game in action here. To see it described, it is a simple black and white pinball game by Atari, released in October 1974. It was one of the first, if not the first, video games to simulate pinball. A patented motion circuit generates the ball in lieu of any CPU. It's a purely TTL logic. Targets are surrounded by zones that determine the direction the ball bounces in. And I have here some copy from Atari's ad flyer for the game that they sent to arcade distributors in hopes they would purchase the game. Atari's unique new concept. Ping Pong is so unique, it's in a class by itself. In fact, it's the only video game on the market that simulates the play of the classic pinball machine. Realistic video motion and sound is generated by a specialized computer designed specifically to make the game attractive and reliable. And because the game is stimulating, Ping Pong is irresistible to players of all ages. It literally invites players to try their skill, in quotation marks for some reason, time after time. The Ping Pong ball is generated by a patented motion circuit, and each target is surrounded by one or more zones that determine the direction of the bounce. Realistic video action! In Ping Pong, a gravity algorithm, spelled with a Y instead of an I, accelerates the ball downward to give realistic pinball play on the screen. The ball flipper is genuinely unique to video games, and in the normal position, they angle downward towards the center of the screen. When the flipper buttons are pressed, the lower flipper image blanked, and a short time later, another image appears, this time as a straight vertical line. The timing used in the flippers gives the illusion of continuous motion. And so saith the ad flyer. Needless to say, we're describing this one because we can't play it. Not emulated in any acceptable capacity at this current moment in time. Barely notes.
It also kind of sounds like describing a video game to an alien.
Well, bear in mind, 1974, it might as well have been. This was still, as I said, completely new concept. The idea you could digitize pinball was novelty in and of itself.
Also, horrendous grammar on that, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, there's typos in it. There's missing punctuation.
Misuse of the words unique and literally.
Yes, that too. Weird quotation marks. Do better, Atari. Speaking of Atari, they are also responsible for the first home console version of pinball. What we are looking at here is 1977's Video Pinball, also known as the Model C380. Catchy name. The Video Pinball brand is a series of first-generation single-player dedicated home video game consoles manufactured, released, and marketed by Atari starting in 1977. Bumper controllers on the sides or a dial on the front are used to control the games depending on the game selected, because these were multi-console games. These ones that they sold as, Pong consoles, the era of the Pong console, would have not just Pong on it. They'd have variants on Pong, whether it's just like, Ball Against the Wall, which is the early form of Breakout, or games of that nature. I believe these video pinball machines would have a version of basketball on them. And I also think they had Breakout on them as well. I don't know if they called it Breakout. I don't have enough clarity on this image to see, but you'd get this for the purpose of playing pinball primarily. And it has little flippers you can see in this little screenshot. And again, this is one that we don't have the means to emulate at the moment, but you can sort of gather what this would have looked like, what this probably would have played like. The ball physics are kind of like Pong, where rather than like gravity drawing it downwards, it's just bouncing against the sides of the wall and eventually working its way towards the paddles in which you hope to hit the ball with. So again, very primitive, but also even if we could play it, it would be mean, particularly mean to mock this, I think. So,
one of these days I'd like for us to do a stream where every single game on the list is unplayable for one reason or the other. So it's 3 hours of us just talking about, here's a picture of this game. We can't play it, but we'll describe it to you.
Yeah, we'll paint a picture with our words, if you will. Now, unfortunately, we do have to play the next one and the rest of the ones after that. That was the last of the hear but not see.
I'll see there's one more, but we'll see about that.
No, this next game here is Video Pinball, the arcade cabinet by Atari. This is, according to description, the world's first video attraction to simulate a pinball game. Well, that's not true. There's Ping Pong earlier. That's that was the first. Atari tried to bury that game. Atari made a conscious, deliberate effort to erase the existence of ping pong and to try to position video pinball as the first of its kind. That is what I seem to gather.
I mean, that early on, you could just do that.
Yeah,
It's
there
not
was
like
no internet. There's no K-Lov or whatever to verify this.
I wonder if their logic was that a quote video attraction is a separate
Product
device.
category.
Yeah, so they can get away with it.
They can get away with rebranding, just like Disney saying it's
Yeah.
the first movie of ours to star a gay character. First movie of ours to have a gay character, and it just keeps towing that line. This game here, this video pinball for the arcade. If I can read on the description here, Video Pinball was an instant winner with fluorescent disco 3D playfield, challenging targets, bumpers, slingshots, rollovers, and drop targets. Atari Video Pinball had it all, but without all the mechanical objects associated with classic pinball games. Even a pinball nudge feature is included to give a more realistic feel to the play action. Approximately 1,500 units were produced, and we can play this one. We can actually launch this one in MAME. With an overlay to simulate the effect. This is one of those ones where, because we obviously didn't have color graphics at this point, the game itself would be played just black and white, series like ones and zeros, the whole drill, like the classic style of game there. But you'd have a reflection cast onto the screen by a series of mirrors and lighting that would put a play field onto the screen to give some context to the stuff that you were playing, to the ball and the bouncing around, the bumpers and whatnot. So I'm going to get this launched. You have to give me a second to get it properly scaled before I throw it up on the screen. But who wants to play this one? Because I need a breather after that.
I would like to play this one. I would like to play one of the earliest.
All right, in that case,
video pinball games.
We will get you set up then. In that case, this is the play field. Bear with us, folks, while we assign some buttons. Give me a left flipper. Give me a right. Give me a nudge.
Nudge, okay.
Give me the plunger. Give me a start. And give me a coin. And then give me a tilt, I guess. I don't know what makes tilt different from nudge, but...
I guess just automatically say, like, hey, end my turn, please.
Maybe. Perhaps. This even has dip switches, so we can see how many balls we want. We'll go with the default.
Yeah.
For this one. All right.
Boop. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to have to man the volume on this one to make sure that it is not completely abrasive to our audience at home, but you are free to play as you please. So put a coin in.
I did.
Now press start.
I did.
Press the plunger button.
Yep. Nothing.
Oy vey.
Just go back in there and see what happened to start.
Hit start.
Uh-huh.
Worst case scenario, I will hit start and coin for you. Let's try it like this.
Okay.
And then hopefully all the other stuff works.
Yep, other stuff works. Look at it go.
And back down. You didn't pull hard enough.
All right. And that was one of the earliest pinballs.
Go to hell.
All right. You do have to hold down
the
plunger.
There we go. I do really like the overlay this one has, though. Actually, does a really good job of looking like a real table.
Oh.
Fancy projection.
Why did it not let me... Huh.
Try again.
I do find it funny, though, that the bot... Are they flippers or paddles?
Flippers.
I never know.
Flippers.
We'll go for flippers, then. But they're not... aligned, one of them slightly higher than the other.
Yeah, that's because of line sprite limits. They couldn't have multiple things occupying the same line exactly on the screen, so they had to cheat it a little bit here. If I had to guess, if I had to...
Possibly. I feel like I've also seen tables that do kind of weird, mismatched flippers.
ProSucker92 in chat says, it's so Vectrex. Just you wait.
Give me another coin. Thank you.
This doesn't. This overlay doesn't capture all of the flashing lights that would exist on the cabinet. That would be for show. That would be for the purposes of enticing players to come to it, attract mode stuff. But
it's a little hard to tell what can be bounced off of, because that little path down the middle, if you hit the top of it, that is an element that can be bounced off of.
yeah, they could have done well to have some of those elements on the screen itself, on the actual display, to maybe like light up to show the outlines of what is a solid object. You know, this might be potentially misaligned within MAME. This might not be perfect, as the case may be.
Come on up.
How do the ball physics here feel?
You know what? For this era, like, way better than I would have thought.
Yeah, that was the impression I got too as I was sampling this one.
Like,
I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I've played games from like the 90s that don't feel as like accurate as this.
Even just watching this, I think we've got some games made decades later that don't have as good ball feel as this.
You know what? Sometimes when we do these, since we do like a very early history before we get into the meat of it, sometimes we're playing some good games at the start.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of the show. Don't worry, you'll be suffering soon enough.
Like I said, not great.
I'm assuming with the, like the red simulated LEDs, that's because the overlays red tinted there, and that's how they're doing that effect?
Yes, I would believe so.
Yeah.
Do you want to turn on this bag, by the way?
I'll have a quick go, yeah.
Yep. Left flipper.
You sure you're in the window?
I should be.
I heard your controller just turn on. Oh, you know what? I'd have to close out of the game and restart it because you know what? You'll get the next
let's move on.
You'll get one of the next ones at the very least. You lost your chance. You'll never be able to play pinball in this town again. Yeah, let's move on to the next. Why don't we?
I have to take my ball and paddles and go home.
And the next game we'll be covering is Wildfire.
I have heard of this one.
A Parker Brothers handheld game from 1979. Precious little information is known about this one, but we do have some of the development information. This was U.S. patent number 4,334,679. Very good. Invented by Bob Doyle, and the production toy version was designed and programmed by Gary Kitchen and Stephen Kitchen at Wickstead Design Associates. Originally priced at $44.96 in 1979 dollars. That very precious little bit of information, by the way, comes courtesy of the handheldmuseum.com. This page here, which has the photos as well, which is the real primary reason to visit that page if you want to see some of the pictures of this. Speaking of pictures of it, let's unbox it on the right-hand side here and take a look at some of this ad copy on the back of the box. Put real pinball excitement in the palm of your hand. Pick up Wildfire and enter the age of total electronic pinball. Wildfire looks, sounds, and plays like the real thing with all the true-to-life action and features of the full-size machines. Yet, it's fully electronic. From flippers and bumpers to scoring and sounds to the moving of the ball of light. You know, it's like in a classic arcade game where you're hitting a ball of light. It's portable, too. You can take Wildfire anywhere and play it anytime. All the excitement fits right in the palm of your hand. This one was a pain in the ass to get up and running in emulation, but I managed it. This used to work in MAME. Used to use this overlay image on the right-hand side. It would overlay this on top of the game elements, so you'd be able to play the game with everything aligned properly. MAME, because it's such a wonderful fucking program, has since broken that. So let's hide that slide and cut to this screen, this OBS scene I had to make myself.
Yeah, no, you did well with this. I'm gonna call out Wildfire here. I'm gonna start some beef.
Ooh.
Their front of the box advertising lies about how the ball moves. If you look at the ball, they've given it after trails to make the animation look smoother than it actually is.
Well, that's the gimmick with this, is that all this is...
Yeah, which you're about to see.
Yeah, there's no actual, how you say, physics to this in a traditional sense. This is very much the illusion of movement as provided by LEDs that light up on the screen.
But I just like whoever made the box art knew that what the actual physics and feel of this was bad, so they were like, we're going to make it look better. Just... There we go.
There. Oh, you did a good job setting this up in OBS.
Thank you. I wish the game was better. Uh, this is one where just straight away it's like, oh, this is just like, it just drains the ball immediately to the bottom. You have the one button to engage the plunger, then you have left and right controls. There is a tilt detector, you may notice. They trigger that if you press the buttons too rapidly. You will activate the tilt, and it'll just drain the ball right down the hole. I would love to hit the ball at least once with one of these fucking flippers. Come on.
Yeah, you hit it once.
It's
You
so
hit
hard to
twice.
tell because the ball doesn't get close enough to the flippers to really, like, let you know where and when you need to hit the flipper. Pro Striker 92 says, I guess playing the real thing is way different than this, right? There is not a real Wildfire machine as far as I'm aware. This was...
Well, the real thing being the handheld.
No, this is accurate. This is the game logic dumped into MAME. So it's pretty straightforward. And, you know, the light up objects here map... Oh, I triggered the tilt. That was too much. Did you see? I did too much button action there. I did too much paddle action, and it decided to punish me for it. A good question from chat from Psy42. Can you cradle in this game?
Oh, no way, right?
No way.
No, because you can't hold it. You press it, and then it just immediately disappears.
And yeah, like exactly where the ball can go. Like it's predetermined dots on the screen.
Like, audience at home can't see this, but I'm looking at the game being played without the overlay.
Oh, I can show people that.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at right now. For the sake of example here, this is what the game really is underneath the surface. So I'm just gonna do one ball this way.
You know, like having grown up with Tiger Electronics games, like I am used to this being how games worked. But it's real interesting to me to like kind of see behind the curtain.
Yes. Little electromechanical devices like this do fascinate me. They're primitive as all get out, of course. That doesn't need to be said. But, you know, the ingenuity behind something like this is still very legitimate, is still very much like craft and effort went into making this repulsive little pinball game. This absolutely abhorrent, dismal little thing took a lot of smart people making very dumb decisions committing to this.
I think I remember hearing about this in a Jeremy Parrish video when he talked about growing up with one of these things.
I believe
it. Rough, I guess.
Can you read a comment from Itaton, by the way?
Sure. They say, I've never played the emulated version, but the original handheld isn't as difficult once you figure out the timing. You have to follow the path of the ball and press the flipper a little early for it to register effectively. Yeah, I imagine you would have to, like, hit it early, given how, like, if you wait for it to be on the flipper, then it's already gone, given where the ball's...
Yeah.
Where the...
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, you
go.
can learn these things. If this is the pinball, if this was the video game you had, you would learn it in time. You know, in the format of the show does not allow us the ability to commit that long to any one game, unfortunately. Especially one as visually, you know, I did what I could to pretty this up for the stream, but ultimately, we can't do this for, like, 30 minutes without losing every one of our viewers, and rightfully so. So we're gonna have
This
to
is a present from me.
go away from Wildfire for now. It was absolutely worth the 2 hours spent aligning all those elements properly to show that off on stream. I think it was legitimately. I'm impressed with myself.
Thank you for the subscription, Jordan, but I am not going to read that slander.
I can't wait to play Black Knight 2000. That's going to be played tonight, right? Right? It's a good pinball. Yeah. I don't know why I read it.
We're not playing Black Knight 2000.
Can I just say, on the
Pinball
Discord
stream.
server, it's so adorable how people will recommend games to us, be like, oh, you're going to play, like, Devil's Crush, right? And we're just like, no, wrong show. What's the name of the channel? It's so nice. It's so sweet of people to think that we play good games on here, but that's not the gimmick. That's not the show.
We have a lot of people in the Discord who are just really big fans of pinball.
Yeah, and we appreciate them, and we hope that this stream here, this show, We'll serve them
ruins
well.
it.
Yeah. Now,
Oh.
if we branch over to the badly played game Hall of Fame,
Ooh, then we can,
Oh yeah,
then we get some Devil Crush going.
all
we
things.
can play anything we want.
All things in due time. But for now, we have more games to get to. Quote unquote games. Including 1979's Pinball, manufactured and released by Milton Bradley in November 1979 for their Microvision handheld console. This was one of 4 launch titles for the Milton Bradley Microvision, which was, for those who don't know, the first handheld game console to utilize interchangeable cartridges. The Microvision was designed by Jay Smith, the engineer who would later design the Vectrex video game console, which we will get to. But I do believe... I was reading up a little bit of history, refreshing myself on the history of the Microvision a little bit, because this is an important console. Primitive as all get out, as you'll see when we get to the pinball here, but it did directly inspire the designs on the Game Boy, where Nintendo decided to design around the limitations of the Microvision. They looked at it and said, what can we do better? So it's important in that way, and also important as one of the first that had like swappable cartridges, that had an expanded library beyond just what was designed for the console, that was baked into it. This one is also a little tricky to emulate. There is one emulator that works consistently. It is the MVEM, the Microvision emulator, and I toyed with it. I worked to get this up and running. And so what you're going to see when we get the game launched is what would appear on the screen of the console, and on the left you're going to see what the whole unit would look like. So we're going to get this launched in a second here. 2 seconds. So I can show it to the fine folk at home. Here we are. How does this look? Alright, so the way this emulator works is that it maps the paddle, or the dial here, to the mouse, so I can move left and right.
Sevenist.
Yeah, these are the settings on the screen here we're going to go through. So number on the left is the number of balls we have.
Oh, that was sevenist. Wait, it's not how the numbers work.
So then we can adjust speed, slow and
Oh.
fast. And then the paddle, T is for 3 dots big, and D is for 2 dots big. We're going to go with 3. I should mention that this is a 16 by 16 pixel screen. Or not pixels necessarily, but 16 by 16 is the whole of the playfield. That is 256 positions.
D for 2. Is this a Spanish machine?
Double, triple, or duo triple.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to play the thing now. So ready for some pinball?
I like Chalky's theory. It's uno, dos, tres.
Pinball.
Yeah.
So I can't help but notice, this ain't fucking pinball. It's just another goddamn fucking breakouts. And not a good one at that either.
Listen, it was the 70s. You could say whatever the fuck you wanted on a video game.
Hopefully this isn't too loud.
See, I'm noticing that there is apparently a score on screen, but I'm having trouble figuring out.
No, it only shows it because of the limited resolution. It shows it between plays, basically.
Now I understand. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you get a point by hitting one of the 4 circles in the center.
Yes, that would appear to be the case. I'm hitting everything except those those things, those bumpers in the center.
No, you ever? It's not a unique thought, but you ever think about going back in time to like the 70s and like just showing some kid the Switch?
Yeah, and just blowing their minds, blowing their mentalities. Is it that old David Cross joke about going up to heaven and, like, you know, some Depression era kid is playing with the cup and ball and you're playing like Xbox 360 and playing Call of Duty and you're like, no, you can't have this, I'm sorry. No, you can only use toys from your own time or whatever, I guess. 2 balls left. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Even by 1979 standards, this is dire. I would take the last game we played over this.
Wildfire.
I would take a Wildfire over this because at least a Wildfire attempts to approximate pinball. You could have, with the limited real estate here, with the limited screen space,
We
still
have
done
to find
something
the answer by
with
ourselves.
flippers. You still could
You
have
have to say something nice.
him. You know, this was one of the launch titles, so if you had bought a Microvision at launch, and this is one of the games on offer on it, you could quickly realize how your money had been burnt. No, I can't go with
you
that.
know what?
I can't go
You
with
know
the
what?
joke answer.
I got one. I got one for you. Ignore the fact that this isn't pinball. It's got, for what it is, it does have an analog control, which is what you want for one of these kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing this on fast speed with a...
Yeah, this looks impossible now.
Oh, you don't say. Okay, how about fast with the full length paddle? You know, if you have the muscle memory for it, you could learn like where the dial corresponds. So you get pretty efficient probably at positioning, so that you know exactly how much to turn to put the paddle in the position you want it to be in. But I was never good at dial games or paddle games.
Slime Generous says, we only play bad games on this channel, Cass says, and yet here I am watching pinball on Microvision.
There's I think 14 games in total for the Microvision. I think 2 of them are homebrew, but they're included in the collection, which means there's really 12 games for the Microvision. And some of them are okay. This is not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of... around this era, there were a lot of like home consoles and things that launched, had like 6 games for them, and then they're like, we're done.
Yep. That's it. That's a library. That's a catalog. Did someone ask in chat about how I'm controlling this, by the way?
Yeah, they said, are you playing with a spinner or do you have the paddle mapped to the analog stick?
I had it mapped to mouse left and right. Now I'm trying with O and P because I realized that's an option. And this might honestly be a little bit better. That just went right through the paddle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That just went right through the fucking paddle. I was dead center. I could not have been any more dead center on that. I want an instant replay. I want to file a lawsuit against Milton Bradley if they're still around.
Clip it. It's evidence.
That's going to do it for Microvision Pinball.
Yeah.
That's as much of that as I can stomach for now.
Microvision is an interesting device, though, in how they slotted the games in. But yeah, that's not the game to showcase.
No, certainly not.
The best of the console.
We are now getting into slightly more familiar territory. We are now getting into proper home consoles. We are now entering the era of the Atari VCS, also known as 2600. This is 1980's Video Pinball, the third game to be called Video Pinball. This was programmed by Bob Smith on behalf of Atari in 1980. I have a little bit of history here, a little bit of some information on the development of this game. Bob Smith applied to work for Atari at the end of the 1970s and was hired on the spot. After a week in the office, Smith was offered a list of possible games to work on from his boss, Dennis Kobla, and opted to work on a Video Pinball. While he did play the original Video Pinball arcade game in Atari headquarters, he had also played the Superman pinball game by Atari for inspiration, as per an interview conducted by Paul Drury for Retro Gamer issue 165. If I have that written correctly, which I don't have it written as 1965. They don't have that many issues, so I'm pretty sure it's 165 to get the source correct on that. And this is the one where I have to read from the instruction manual because it is so fucking funny. How many of you out there have always longed to be a pinball wizard? Just going right into it. Just immediately, just like, hey, remember Tommy? It's a good bet that some of the places you had to go to play a game of pinball weren't the most comfortable for you. Well, relax. Since you were wise enough to invest in this Atari Video Pinball trademark game program trademark, you'll never have to worry about being at places with that kind of unsavory atmosphere again. Video Pinball has the challenge and the excitement of standard pinball games, and doesn't have any idea what a quarter is. So not only are you spared the unpleasant task of stuffing quarters into hungry machines, you have the comfort and the well-being of your home. What more could a pinball enthusiast ask for? And as for you pinball wizards, don't think you can master this one lickety-split. It'll be a while before your whiz rating is restored and in full swing. Just in case you're a pinball rookie, there's only one thing you need to know. You're going to love it. You may have stayed away from the more traditional places of pinball habitation in the past, but now you're going to see why so many others have gone goofy with pinball madness. As a matter of fact, you'll probably catch the fever yourself within about 20 minutes. So, take a deep breath, turn up the stereo, and jump right into video pinball. One more thing, better get yourself a piggy bank for all those quarters you're going to save. Incredible copy. Award-winning writing there.
I'm applauding that one. That was amazing.
That fucking rules. Will the game match up to that? Will the game that we're about to play live up to that incredible description? Bag is going to find out. Johnny is going to be the one to find out in this case. If you can give me a little bit of wiggle on that controller of yours.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Very good. Let's see if we can get you mapped properly. If I just swap around the controls, it should be good. We're going to keep it on the default settings. We're going to keep it on game A, or game 1 and left difficulty A. So to do that, you can just press start, I believe, or the A button, or whatever button you want to do. Yeah.
Oop. Oh, okay, so you have to...
I think I can increase this one, the mix, a little bit. It's not quite as abrasive as some of the earlier games we were playing. I need to look at the volume for just a minute. And then I can give you some instruction on this as well. Pay no attention to the thing moving on the screen, by the way.
I tilted.
You tilted? Yeah,
I played with fire. Got burnt.
So, I have some instructions here. These are partially cribbed from the instruction manual. Pulling down on the Atari joystick pulls the pinball machine plunger back, while pressing the joystick button shoots the ball into the playfield. You figured that bit out for yourself. The left and right flippers are activated by moving the joystick controller left or right. Moving up on the joystick activates both paddles at the same time. Theoretically.
Yep. Yeah.
The ball can be nudged, as in nudging a table gently in real life, by holding down the joystick button and moving the controller in a particular direction.
This goes so fast.
Nudging too much results in a tilt, forcing the ball to drain.
That was it. All right, let's try this again.
Can I just say, the visual style, like the layout that they have chosen to represent pinball in this is amazing. It's like
most of what they had.
It's like a Piet-Mondrian like version of pinball. It's just squares and lines.
That's way too highbrow a reference for me. That's how's it coming along?
It's a little rough.
Oh, you don't say.
I remember that this was a game that you could buy on the game room for Xbox and Windows.
Yeah.
What was it, like $3?
Folks, join the Game Room Discord server, our dedicated Discord server, which is
not
a
related,
tribute.
But
it's the icon for the Discord server is the Game Room
not
logo.
Not legally related.
It's until they come after us, until Microsoft tries to cease and desist us. That is what it is. That is where it stands. Oh, was that your last?
Yeah, it goes by very quickly. I'm going to give this one more go, because there's one thing I want to try and do.
Absolutely. Then I might give Charky a turn on this.
Yeah.
Fear Chunky says, FNAF minigame ass pinball.
So, compared to Milton Bradley pinball, it's a step up from that.
The thing is, though, having played a couple of like collection pinball games that have like games from the 60s and 70s, it was quite common for the physical machines to have. Oh yeah, if the ball's going at this angle, you can't get it with the flippers.
Yeah.
So that's actually accurate to the time.
Bullshit as it may be. Oh!
Yeah!
There you go.
Skill shot.
So there is a way to get into an infinite scoring loop.
Yeah, that's
game.
what I'm attempting. Just with the paddles, I have to, because I'm playing this how you would play this on the stick. So every so often I have to check I'm actually pressing the stick in the right way to get what I want.
Compelling stuff.
Yeah.
Some,
you know what?
I do
Folk knew what they
tilts.
should have known what they were signing up for when they clicked on a painful Pinball Games stream.
Like, we played a in the Simple 2000 series. We played a pinball game on there.
I found the pro strat. You just don't press buttons.
Yeah. But that pinball game from Simple, at least the one we played, I remember that had a thing where at least on one of the tables,
Yep,
you would just get into a situation where it would never go to the flippers. You would just be stuck doing it for like 5 minutes at a time.
Was that the
as you
idle
bounced
one?
between-
The one
That was the idle one,
school,
yeah.
schoolgirl one or whatever it was.
when
Yeah.
it decides to bounce right in the middle there, you have so little time to react. It gets so quick at the bomb.
Side 42 accidental cradle, by the way.
You know, we'll try.
Can you
that.
hold? That's the first question. You can hold.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think it will. I think it's gonna like just bounce.
Yeah, because as square as this looks, they are trying to simulate that this is
Has gravity that it draws inwards. They just don't have the means to necessarily, not without severely compromising how much play space there is, without severely compromising, you know, how much room there is for the ball to travel and stuff.
There you go. Tilted too much.
Down the
And
hole
there
it
we go.
goes. How are the physics in it, by the way?
It's weird because they don't feel bad, but because of the perspective is different than where it feels like the physics is working on a different perspective than the one you're looking at.
Turkey, do you want to give this a go, by the way?
I'll give it a quick shot.
Yes.
And we can move on.
Yes.
Like sometimes it moves where you think it would, and then sometimes where, especially when it hits those diagonal, I say diagonal, the stair bumpers, some of the directions it goes there is very strange. You have to think three or fourth dimensionally to picture, okay, this is pretending that it's an angled table, but I'm looking.
You should have
straight
control,
up.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, let me make sure I'm in the right window. Okay. I do not have control.
Fuck's sake. Well, you know what? That's
Well,
fine.
No, I
That's
still
fine.
have. Yeah, I still have control.
Yeah, well, I tried to map it so everyone had control, but that's all right. I think we've seen enough
Yep.
of video pinball.
Yeah.
That's why I said real quick, and then we move on.
Yes, that's fair. Move on to our next game, which in this case, and in this show, happens to be Game & Watch Pinball, released December 5th, 1983 by Nintendo. Nintendo manufactured around 250,000 units of this game worldwide. The model number for the game was PB59, with PB standing for Pinball. The game's box came with a unit, 2 LR44 batteries, an instruction booklet, and battery stickers. The maximum amount of points a player could accumulate is 999,900 points. Once it reaches that extremely challenging to get score, it will reset back to 0. So we've stepped forward, now we're stepping back into the world of LCD games here with the Game & Watch. But let's see if this holds up at least a little better than Wildfire. Give me a second to get this up and running. You saw what the handheld looks like from that screen there. Hopefully you were paying attention to that. If not, just one last look. See, that's it on the left. That's what it would look like. I'm not going to put the bezels on screen. I'm just going to put the background, the art on screen for this one. I figure that is sufficient. I'm buying time while I scale this properly, while I scale this to the dimensions I want it to scale to. So,
if no one in chat's ever seen what a Game & Watch looks like before you turn it on, they're gonna get a jump scare.
In just
what this looks like.
Yeah,
Here it is.
every ball everywhere all at once.
Multi-ball!
A very generous multi-ball here.
There was an Apollo 13 pinball table, and the big gimmick of it is multi-ball was 13 balls at once.
That
we
is
got a little
impressive.
ditty. We got a little ditty there.
We did.
Who has control?
I have control, but I'm trying to remember how to control it.
It was just 2 buttons, wasn't it? Oh, and then there's.
Oh
like,
yeah,
the
you're right.
game
I
A,
had to
game
press
B.
left instead of the plunger button. It's just left or right. I mean to say.
Okay, good.
Great.
Good. Second time tonight we've started a pinball game by doing that.
So they want you not to hold it too long, or it bounces back.
What? Just straight down.
Just straight down.
That's weird because it looked like you knocked it up and
Yeah.
then just down it went.
Fuck's sake.
Did either of y'all ever have a Game & Watch?
I still have my Game & Watch.
Which one did you have?
I believe, I don't know the name of it, but it's the one where the chef flips the sausages in the frying pans.
I think it's just called
Ooh.
Chef.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah,
Go on.
Huh?
yeah, no, and just there's a lot of like very random console and physical hardware that people just give me over the years, and someone just gave me a Game & Watch like in the. God, it was either late '90s, early 2000s. So even then,
As a kid,
very old.
I had a Donkey Kong Jr. Game & Watch, and I played that so much. I
For
love that little
me,
thing.
I didn't have a proper Game & Watch, but I had the Game & Watch Gallery games for the Game Boy, which remade and assembled and did modern versions of all these games here.
I think one of them is on the Nintendo Switch online thing. I should stress, one of them.
One of the 3.
He's
I
on
think there's
the-
actually a 4th one in
yeah.
Game Boy Advance as well. But let me
Yeah,
just say,
yeah.
those are some of my favorite Game Boy games. The simplicity could not be beat. I love chasing the high scores in them and unlocking cool stuff. It's
They
one of
had
those games
modern modes.
it's one of those games that really got me into the history of games because they have these museum sections in them as well where they describe, like, and here's the games that, like, came out in this year and so on and so forth. I just thought that shit was endlessly cool. As far as this pinball game is concerned, this is not included in any of the Game & Watch gallery games. This one did not make the short list for games that they wanted to give the modern or classic treatment to. And I wonder why.
Well, no Mr. Game & Watch in it, so.
Well, yeah.
It would be interesting to see someone try and make as rudimentary as a table this is, like a real one though.
Sure.
A real table, a physical table
Well,
based
not
on this.
Maybe not physical, but just without it being this, LCD style, like actual ball physics.
Sure, with
there's-
display field,
what's-
yeah.
I mean, what's that PC game where you make your own
Oh, right.
pinball tables? You could probably do it in that.
Yeah.
Pinball Creation Factory or something like that. Someone in
Something
chat
like
will
that.
know. I know we have some pinball heads in the chat right now, and someone will know exactly what we're talking about. I always forget. I always neglect the top screen. This was a dual screen system, by the way. This would be top and bottom, as well as being an alarm clock and
Yeah.
watch.
And you can tell that in something they did for the DS as well, where when the ball is going between the screens, it's accounting for the fact that there's like
A
a
gap.
strip of plastic.
Yeah.
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 Which I always appreciated that with the DS and 3DS.
This is not the worst.
No,
It's
Actually,
not
I-
good. Pinball
Yeah,
Construction Kit. That's the name
Yeah.
of what we were looking for.
Yeah, I could see someone finding this beeping annoying, but I think it probably helps with the timing for this. Gives it like a pseudo rhythm game thing, so okay, on the beeps, that's when the ball's gonna change position.
Yes. You can tune into that. Or more likely, you could just put it on mute. Now, down the gutter it goes. I don't suppose anyone else wants to try a hand at this?
I'll give it a quick go.
Yeah, why not? Not much to bind here. Give me a left. Give me a right.
Mhm.
You're set.
Yeah.
Remember, it's right to activate the plunger. You get the sense that there's, obviously it's illusory. Obviously there are no physics per se. It is all pre-programmed in its capacity as a LCD game. It's all based on timing rather than any model or simulation of physics. But it moves at a decent enough clip, and there's just barely enough spots it can appear on the screen to where you can sort of parse where it's going to be, where it's going to land. which is, an important part of the feel of a pinball game is understanding that momentum as I'm to understand it.
Okay, the pro tip seems to be just mash when it's getting near the flipper you want, and you're probably gonna hit it. Hey! That's my signature move, I guess.
I don't think I've ever accomplished that on a real pinball machine, getting it to go back in the hole from whence it came. We make it happen in these virtual pinball games.
Ah.
I can never, when it's that left paddle zone, it's just fucked.
Yeah.
I bet there's a pinball table out there that actually gives you points for knocking it back into the way it came.
Return to sender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've played a simulated version of a real table that does that.
Straight down the center. Nothing you could do.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do there.
Yeah, no, there's nothing you can do in a situation like that, as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned.
That's not too bad for the time, yeah.
Yeah, for 83, it's definitely, again, improved over the likes of Wildfire. Definitely better than Milton Bradley. But, not quite comparable to the Atari 2600 video pinball. But, for portable, for handheld, it wasn't going to be for how primitive that technology was at that point in time. But, an admirable effort for folk who were looking for some version of pinball on the go, I suppose. Next game on the list, it's SpinBall, 1983's SpinBall, also known as Flipper Pinball in Europe. This was developed and published by General Consumer Electronics, GCE, for the Vectrex. This game was designed by Jeff Corsiglia and programmed by Mark Indictor in 1983. SpinBall is rare among original Vectrex games in that it features a pause mode, a pause button by pressing and depressing button 1. The score is not shown during live gameplay, presumably a performance flicker optimization, just to square that detail away. This is the Vectrex. Is this the first time we featured the Vectrex on the show? I think it might be, even though I think we've mentioned the Vectrex 100 million times. Classic Game Room, and their love of the Vectrex is one of the most beautiful and pure things I've seen, and I hope I don't make Mark too angry by saying that this game is not good, that this version of pinball, as it stands, is not great. Here it is, with overlay and all. Alright, the Vectrex is a curious thing with 4 buttons on it. You use 2 of them to play this game. This is a vectorized graphic console, for those who don't know, which is to say that all these lines scale and draw in real time, rather than the classic rasterized image or pixel approach. So it was emulating arcade games of the era that used this style. Pro Striker 92 says seizure alert. I don't think this is flashing rapidly enough to indicate that. I would hope, certainly. But let's.
But now we've said it out loud anyway, so.
Yeah, if you're worried, take care, be careful. Look after yourself.
Down to depress the plunger, and I let go and nothing happens because you need to press the shoot button.
But yeah,
so it goes.
I'm not familiar with all the technology behind it and how the technical names for it, but these were specific monitors that could only draw lines like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I really hope at some point in my life I can see
There's your cradle, by the way. This one's for you, Sai.
I notice when you do that, it stops flashing, too. I really hope at some point in my life I get to actually get hands-on with the Vectrex. I think that would be really cool.
I've played on a real Vectrex before. It's neat. It's novel. It looks way better in person than this.
Yes, yeah.
I should mention, for the sake of the audience, by the way, just in case it wasn't clear, this is one of those systems where you'd have to put an overlay on top of the screen, that every game came with its own plastic overlay, and that is emulated here. Without that, it would look a little something like this.
Which is still cool.
Mm-hmm.
But vector graphics aren't really a thing you can truly emulate.
Yeah.
Like, not in a way that does it any justice.
Yeah, not satisfactorily. I don't go much for like the people who are like CRT or die. Games they're meant to be seen on a CRT. You can only play them on a CRT. Those old games. I appreciate the art of designing stuff with a CRT in mind. When it comes to vector graphics, though, yeah, no, play that shit on an actual like arcade cabinet or Vectrex if and whenever you can, because this does not do it any sort of justice. Unfortunately, it's good that it's playable. It's good that we have some approximation thereof of it, but.
This is my Vib Ribbon bias coming in, but I actually prefer it how it looks here.
I bet if you were playing this in person, up close to a Vectrex, I bet you could smell the ozone coming off this thing.
Smells like nostalgia. Fuck. And that's how every real-life game of pinball goes for me, by the way. It's pretty much the experience as I am to know it, as I am familiar with it, as far as pinball is concerned.
I heard these are also like really loud.
It had a volume dial.
No, I mean like the hum of the machine.
Yes, that is noticeable. Fuck's sake.
Oh, right. That's
someone else play this.
Generations coming up are not going to know, are they? Like CRT hums and stuff. Oh, that's weird to think about.
Give me.
Should all theoretically have it.
What are my controls?
Well, let's figure out what controller you are first. Press any button on your controller, Charky.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so down. Let's shoot. Okay.
Now, left and right are the tilt. Very good. That's also my pinball experience there.
Okay.
Buttons 2 and 3. We can map these, actually, before you. I think your controller number 2.
Yes.
Let's hope that you are. You want, like, on L and R?
Sure, yeah.
That's going to be easiest, probably. So, L, R. I wasn't using the tilt at all, so maybe you should demonstrate tilt. What am I doing here? Oh, right. I want to make sure, because I don't know which controller you are specifically. So I'm
on... Wait, you just went to Johnny's, I think.
I'm being safe here and binding it to both of them, just in case. Okay.
I mentioned it a bit earlier, but this game here demonstrates it a bit as well. Like, from what I can gather, based on more retro pinball collection I played that are based on real tables did just have, hey, if the ball goes this way, you're gonna lose. You know, like, oh, here's gutters. There's no way to stop the gutters.
Yes,
that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, there's a purposeful gap between the bottom flippers that if it's going at that angle, then you're screwed. But there is definitely a period where pinball games got further away from that. They would always give you some sort of out.
Why didn't they stay there?
If you happen to have the old, like, pinball arcade, as in the game, tables, and you play, like, some of the earliest tables, they give you, like, 5 balls, and those balls go quick, because you'll launch it, and it's just gone.
The one that comes to mind for me is it was on PlayStation 2, and then a couple of other systems post that, is there was Pinball Hall of Fame, the Gottlieb collection.
I always forget what that button is.
Yeah, which is a lot of, like, 50s, 60s pinball tables there.
R.I.P. to that ball. Gamba never forgotten.
I like that, though.
How do the physics in this feel? I don't have a good gauge for it, so I'm relying on you two.
Bizarre.
Oh, multi-ball.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, now it's a seizure warning.
Now it's...
Yeah. I had a feeling this was going to get one anyway, just to be safe. But yeah, if there's any doubt.
Yeah, I'm going to let one of these balls go.
They have a blocker up in the center there to... Oh, there you go.
Nope, never mind, gone.
It went down the gutter, though, so that's good.
Well, that one went down the center.
I wonder if that's something emulation could possibly fix one day.
What they should do, and maybe there is a way to do this if I was using shaders in RetroArch, because this is a RetroArch core, by the way. You could do, like, emulate phosphor glow, so there'd be an after image for when the lines fade out and disappear, and if you set that high enough, you could have the illusion of persistent graphics where they would be flickering otherwise.
Before we move on, I will just say for the physics, not the worst I played in, like, a pinball game, but really bizarre. Doesn't feel right, but doesn't feel right, closer to feeling right than feeling completely fucking alien.
Atari 2600 Atari Pinball felt like that as well.
Yeah, I'd believe that. I'd be inclined to believe that. I understand that. That was SpinBall for the Vectrex. That's spelled S-P-I-N, capital S, capital B-A-L-L. One word, but capital letters for spin and ball. I almost closed out of OBS instead of the game. That would have been bad. That would have been disastrous. Next game on the docket. We are now moving into more, let's say, sophisticated machinery territory. We are now moving into DOS. The year is 1989. The game, Person Pinball. We're playing the DOS version here. This was also released on Amiga and Atari ST. This was developed by Cirrus Software and with extra assistance from a Subway Software when it came to the MS-DOS and Atari ST versions, which leads me to believe that the Amiga version is the primary one, but DOS was the easiest to acquire, and I just hate working with Amigas. This was published by Timesoft. Timesoft were last seen on our show in our Beverly Hills Cop episode, where they were responsible for publishing a 1990 cross-computer title. We showcased the Amiga version in that episode before we get to the PS2 Beverly Hills Cop game, which is the main event of that episode. This is me stalling, because this game is viscerally unpleasant. But this is the painful pinball game stream.
You're telling me a game called First Person Pinball is visually unpleasant?
Believe it or not. Volume warning in case the volume is really, 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 really loud on this. I'm going to preemptively lower it as much as possible. But no...
I feel like this game just needs a general warning.
Yes.
I can think of a first-person pinball game that's good, though, which is Paranoia Escape for the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
Which is a game I recommend, and a game we're not going to do on this show because it's good.
I have this so low in the mix. When you just launch it, if you launch it without knowing how loud it's going to be, this will blow your eardrums out. Apologies again to Magic Meows, our moderator and viewer in the Discord server. I apologize. I hope one day your hearing returns. But
I'm a sicko because I love this kind of super bit crushed.
All dogs go to heaven vibes.
All right.
Look at that wizard.
One player will do. It's not that loud on our end, says Magic Meows. I can boost it a little bit.
I can fix that.
I'm not going too loud. I am not pushing this one. If you want to hear this music in all of its glory, fucking find a YouTube video or get Exodos or whatever. Let's play it on Speed 2 and Ball Acceleration 2. Oh, if you hold the key down for more than half a millisecond, it just fills it out. I wonder if I have the cycles too high in this. I only have it on 800 cycles, which is not very much, but it might still be too much. Got a beat and I can't dance to it. And there it goes.
Nice.
Still going.
Don't worry, chat. That's not your titanus.
It's not Jackie Chan.
Tinnitus. There we go.
We're getting a lot of points for not having done very much. We can't even show the gimmick of the...
This feels like a joke game now.
Who knows? Maybe the Amiga version of this is incredible.
How long does this go?
That's a good question.
Did you break the physics of the balls just constantly...
I just hit the plunger. I didn't do anything.
Well, no, I don't mean like you're at full. I just mean if...
Oh, 5,000 points. That's how long it takes to get the 5,000 points. Z and M, by the way, to control the paddles. I'm looking at the playfield. I am not looking at the quote-unquote first person, which is also not first person, as someone in chat pointed out. It's clearly third person, because you can see the fucking ball.
No, it's first person of the little man running after the ball and trying to get it back.
The little gnome inside the machine.
All right, go for 5,000.
Oh, thank God we
Aw.
didn't.
Okay, so that must have been a skill shot that you managed to hit. For like an uncomfortably large amount of points. Also, I like the fact that we started with like an old wizard in space, and the table we're playing is just football.
This is the only table in this game, as far as I'm aware, as far as I am
Of course
to
it
know.
is.
So I wonder if you could theoretically, if someone would try to play this game looking at the quote-unquote
No.
first person.
No. Not possible.
No, not the speed this is running at. I'm trying to watch how long it takes for the flippers to come in, and it is almost instant.
I had full control over that. I could have absolutely things I could have done to save that ball there.
Well,
Boy, howdy.
Can you tilt in this one?
I wouldn't know what the keys for that are.
Oh, I think you can, because I think.
Oh, look at that meter on there.
Yeah, I'm noticing there's a left and a right meter.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
those are, like, tilt meters.
X and N next to Z and P. Should I just
No, nah.
I don't know
tilted
what
in the
physics
wrong
are on this
direction?
one.
I made the high score list. All right, one more with tilts. And also, let's go ahead and
Crank up that speed.
yeah, let's see how fast it can go. Cass. Ugh. When you can't even type your name out in the game. Okay. Yeah, speed's really paying off, boy howdy. I can totally tell the difference between those two modes. Fucking hell. People mentioning PaTaank, or PaTaank is the way it's properly pronounced in the chat, saying this is like proto-PaTaank, says Itatan. Yeah, I suppose so in some sense. PaTaank is on the list. That went through the paddle. Again. It went right through it. I saw it intersect with it, and then just phase through it. Oh, thought I may have had an infinite there for a second. I'm playing just using tilt right now.
Yep. Another thing with old pinball tables, and you can see it here, is having the paddles really fucking far apart from each other.
This is some of the worst I've seen for that gap in the middle.
I've seen worse.
Girl got that paddle gap.
On real pinball tables.
Fuck it, whatever.
This is more graphically advanced than the Atari 2600 one we played.
Yeah, but way worse to play.
Worse to play, yeah.
This is abysmal. This is somehow easily the worst game we played. Maybe besides the Milton Bradley one, because that wasn't fucking pinball. But this was...
I would put this as worse just because the technology should have allowed something better than this.
And again...
Well, we were still 4 years off from Epic Pinball.
And again, who's to say if the Amiga version is quite this bad? It was the DOS version that I heard was the worst, so that's the one we went with. And for our sins, we were punished. That's gonna do it for First Person Pinball, which is, again, lying and advertising. But we won't hold it against them. We'll hold everything else against them instead as we move on to our next game. We've been flying through the games tonight, by the way, can I just say. This is one we might spend a little more time on. And this is one of Johnny's discoveries, so they're going to do the honors of playing it for us.
Thank you.
Although I have heard of this one before.
This is Hero Shūgō Pinball Party for the Game Boy. This was published by Jaleco in Japan on January 12th, 1990. Did not escape Japan. A developer unknown, whether it was actually internally Jaleco or a ghost developer, remains to be seen. Hero Shūgō translates roughly to Hero's Gathering, and as the name suggests, it is a pinball game that features characters from previous Jaleco games, the likes of City Connection and Ninja Jajamaru-kun. The initial menu gives you the choice of a normal game or extra game. Normal game features a 3-tiered table, while extra game features 2 tiers. In extra game, skillful play is rewarded by entering a variety of bonus scenes, each with a unique objective. So that's probably the mode we want to go to, I imagine. Or maybe we'll do a little bit of both. There's also 2-player mode if you do link cable, if you go head-to-head with one another. There was a campaign run for this game, a promotional campaign, in which players could win a special telephone card by writing the password displayed when the conditions were met in the 1-player extra game. If you sent it on a postcard, that little passcode, and you attach the entry ticket included in the instruction manual, sent it off to Jaleco. I think if you scored 1,000,000 points or more, and there's also an ending to this game if you score 1,000,000 points. I'm sorry, I have some bad copy here because I pulled some translation off of Google, so my punctuation isn't the best here. If you score 1,000,000 points or more in either normal game or extra game, a credits roll will play.
Now, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
What's a telephone card?
A telephone card would have been like business cards, I think what they mean. Like, that you could have written your contact information on and handed it to people, or like displayed it. I think that's what it is. It's either that or like, dollars, like points that you could use like from like a payphone system or something like that. I probably should have double checked that. I probably should have looked into that. But it's not the first time I've heard telephone card.
Looking at Wikipedia real quick, it says like calling card.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
this is it's a payment thing. Actually.
Yeah, okay, so it was the point system.
Used to pay for telephone services, often international long distance calling.
Very good. I want to point out this game was reviewed in Famicom Sushin. I didn't put down what issue that was. That was a mistake on my part. Sorry about that. But in their cross review section, this game was given a cumulative score of 20 points out of 40, which for Famitsu, which is what Famicom Sushin became, that is like effectively like a 0 out of 10. As people will joke about Famitsu and Famicom Sushin scoring system, anything below a 30 is basically just like the devil incarnate. As far as these games are concerned. Yeah, let's get this launched. Let's get this loaded. Let's get this into your capable hands, Johnny. All right, and let's just make sure that you have control, which you should. All right.
Yeah, I mentioned Jeremy Parrish earlier, and I'll mention him again because I believe I saw him do this on Game Boy Works, or Game Boy World, or whatever it was called at the time.
For what it's worth, I saw a Reddit post that claims this is the worst Game Boy pinball game.
I would agree based on what I've played of this.
I've played a couple of Game Boy pinball games. I played a lot of the Kirby one. And I've also played a little bit of Revenge of the Gator.
What is going on with this fucking ball?
Well, you have captured it, kind of.
As much as it will allow for. It can be contained, but it can't be stopped.
Like, I think this is how quantum physics works.
As I'm to understand it.
Yes, right now we're able to observe the ball's velocity.
So yeah, the table's really simple, but I think what makes this game is just, not only the physics, but just the hit detection on the flippers is very strange. Like, they don't... The hitboxes for the flippers seems to be a very big square that the sprite is inside of. It's kind of... See that? I hit it before it touched the paddle.
Do you think this game would have been better served with scrolling? Would that have made any difference, or would it have been worse?
No.
No.
Like, Pokemon Pinball on Game Boy Color, Game Boy, used this method, and that was fine.
Yeah, so did Kirby. Kirby Pinball.
Yep. No. The problem here is controlling the thing. Like, you were saying, Cass about thinking that pinball was all luck. This might be that game.
Well, we'll have to see the extra game as well, which I believe is has some variants.
Because why did the ball go that?
Ladies cute,
like
though.
where the ball goes, if you're hitting the ball. I don't know what it's based on.
So, for point of reference, this game came out in 1990. Revenge of the Gator, which was made by HAL Laboratory and is considered like one of the better. Some people may call it like the best on the original Game Boy pinball type games. That came out in 1989.
So they had something they could have learned from, and perhaps did not.
Like, I'm not really controlling where the ball's going. I'm just hitting it.
You're giving us suggestions. You're making recommendations to it.
Yeah.
Vince Vodka Cheese says, maybe they were right on banning pinball. Maybe that factoid you gave us earlier, Charky, maybe they were onto something.
So I don't know how I'm going to get back up.
No, that seems impossible.
Yeah.
Unless the that little nook up here to the left, that teleports you.
Yeah, it's like a...
I think so.
Ah!
Huh? That looks like dog shit, the way it bounces.
I do want Sharky to try.
All right.
Much. Okay, let me do as much push as possible.
Game over.
What was... Because I know some physical tables would give you an extra ball if you hit... get off that screen.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I have control already.
That might be the most punishing game over screen I've ever seen. What?
Sound Boy.
Program play?
Anyway, I'm going to do extra game.
Yeah.
Now, if I do skillful play...
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how do I do this? Okay.
Yeah.
If I do skillful play, then I will get some little bonus games. I don't think I'm going to get the little bonus games.
This does look like the better table, just aesthetically and design-wise.
And it has some, things that would not be present in a real pinball table.
Yeah. Problem is, though...
Oh, I went down.
It still plays the same.
Yeah, still the same physics being applied.
Yeah. It's a little hard to showcase, but you can legitimately hit the ball before it hits the flipper.
I think not only did I go down the gutter, but I hit the thing on the roulette that made the paddles disappear. I think I hit death.
That's really mean of them. Where do you think the minigames show up? You can't get it in the hat. The way the ball, gravity reversed just so it would go down that chute.
Yeah, see there?
It's just hanging in the center.
Yeah, the hitboxes are really bad in this. I guess maybe that's the appropriate term, but I feel like you could call these hitboxes.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, game of skill.
I don't know if I actually hit the tilt or not.
Tilt might be hold B in the D-pad, or it's just gonna be.
How do you make the slot machine stop? Not like this. Oh. I'm waiting to clip out of bounds and into a different pinball table. I can store it off to the side.
Yeah.
Somehow we wanted to back up on the classic table. It's like when you're going bowling and your ball ends up in someone else's lane, then it scores a strike, and you're just like, well, it would have been great if it was in the right lane.
I'm head for wilds. Is it even possible to get the ball back up? I think outside of if one of these,
it is one of the portals off to the side.
Yeah. But going directly up the top, it seems like it would be lucky. You'd probably have to have both flippers held up to make the space bigger, but the angle would be really precise because that thing above the slot machine thing gets in the way of like aiming that way. And also just trying to get the ball to go. This is one I would recommend people play for themselves. Just if...
Okay. I have a weird analogy for you. The way the ball behaves is like the ball was an understudy that didn't bother to read the script of how it's supposed to work. And it just showed up. He's like,
Yeah.
Game over. It's going to start flashing. No. Oh, I hit continue. Well,
yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. No, I want to give it a shot.
Yeah, all right. Well, with skillful play, we can see the bonus things.
We have to
Also,
find
I find
the
it funny
answer
that
by ourselves.
they couldn't fit the plunger lane on screen, so you do the plunger.
Just shift it, yeah.
You have to go shift it.
All right.
Yeah.
Say something nice. Multiple tables. We really haven't seen that tonight.
Cool. Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, they're invisible.
I don't know if that's to say something nice, but that's a gimmick. I mean, the music's fine. It's cheery. We've heard way worse.
This sucks.
And some these little graphics are nice.
It's cute. And if you like Jalico games, if you were a Jalico super fan, there are like City Connection and Ninja Jajamaro-kun to
Yeah. So basically, anything besides actually playing it, all good.
I want to say, I think this magician girl is like an OC for this game. That doesn't represent a different Jalico character.
I'm cheating because I want to keep it on the top screen.
Oh, you want to see if you can get in the top left, maybe?
Yeah.
I bet I know where the top left goes, and it's going to be on the bottom right.
Fuck
Oh,
off.
maybe, yeah.
Oh, didn't go in, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe once it's down here, it's just down here.
I don't know.
There's gotta be a way.
I'm trying to figure out with the arrow pointing up, like
Fuck.
maybe if you hit it enough times, it will shoot you up as well.
Like, my guess for what to do on this screen is either hit those 3 targets,
Oh, that was
or
close.
hit enough of the fire things to make something happen.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I might be right about the fire things, because they're different now.
Fuck that. Come on.
Not quite.
Come on.
Come
Top
on.
left. God damn that fireball. No! That sucks. That sucks too.
Yeah.
This whole game
It's
sucks.
just, yeah, like, while the ball is rolling down the flippers, it will just sometimes bounce.
Aww.
Fuck.
Nope. Nope.
No, you gotta go back further, yeah.
Nope. Keep doing the same thing.
you
It'll
go.
work sometime eventually.
I mean, with
There's
this game,
no
it
such
might.
thing as a second chance.
Oh.
Nope. We got it.
No, I can't rewind.
No more fooling
Oh, thank
around.
God.
All right.
Well, not that it fucking matters, because... This is so bad. I don't like it much either.
Come on. Get this.
It's so not going to be worth it either.
Yeah.
It's not like the minigame's going to be any better than this. They couldn't get the fundamentals of pinball down.
We got it, though. We got it.
Oh, it's lit up. We've got an arrow.
What if this was timed?
Oh,
Oh, that's right. The fire will destroy your paddle.
Hey!
You got it. You got it. Minigame.
Okay, I was worried it was going to hit one of these and just bounce straight down and we'd lose. But watch out, because this table has Oh, okay, good.
Oh, it just spits you right out.
Yeah, I was worried that was going to be just
instant.
teleport back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, I didn't know if I figured out if this has proper tilt or not.
Yeah,
I was
thought
trying
I
some
found-
different button combinations, but...
I
mean,
thought
it's
I
Game Boy,
found
so
tilt.
There's not much. There's not much buttons to figure it out with.
I thought I had found tilt, but the physics in this game are so fucking weird.
Yeah, they are.
All I gotta do is get in one of those corners.
There you go. All right. You win a free calculator.
Oh, do I have to do these sequentially? Or no, I don't have to do it sequentially. I just have to hit them all. Or wait.
I think you're
I wonder what you
doing
do.
I think you're doing some sort of like
Oh, 'cause you made a
never mind.
line. Yeah, you made a line.
And it just
And-
farts the ball
Probably-
right back out.
If you managed to do like 7, 8, 9, that would
Oh,
be more points. Something like that.
Oh, well. You know, if you want to see the rest of the mini games in this game, play it for yourself, because I'm not sending this one away for points in a magazine or in a promotional contest. What happens if you hit it on 000? No. No.
No, what you're looking for is 400.
400?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because it's
You're-
the number you have.
Yeah, you're trying to match. There you go, extra ball.
Okay, okay.
And I don't actually want to play any more of this ever in my life.
Okay.
So that'll do it for Hero Shūgō Pinball Party. What a party it was. Hey, we're midway through the show, so I just want to quickly say, folks, if you like what you're seeing here, consider subscribing on Twitch, pledging on Patreon, becoming a member on YouTube, financially supporting us in some capacity. Doing so will gain you access to our Discord server, where you can join our Patreon Saints channel and vote on upcoming games and make suggestions and things of that nature. I want to quickly get that out there. A show like this takes a lot of work to put together, and we appreciate those of you who support us in our endeavors, in our streaming, the pursuit of e-fame here on the old YouTube and Twitch. But we have more games to get to, including this next one. This is Dino Land for the Sega Genesis. This was developed and published by Wolf Team, published in North America by Renovation Products. North American release date on this one is January 25th, 1991. Japanese release date, August 2nd, 1991. This game, in addition to being a pinball game, has a quest mode that spans 3 pinball areas. You have to rescue the kidnapped girlfriend from Dino Mike by completing boards based on the themes of land, water, and air. It also features hitting dinosaurs with a pinball and 3 bosses. If the name Wolf Team sounds familiar to you, that is because they are responsible for the El Viento trilogy, a series of 3 games spanning the Genesis and Sega CD, comprised of El Viento, Ernest Evans, and Annette Futatabi. Others still might know them for Valis, the Phantasm Soldier, or the infamous PC Engine title Jinmu Densho, which we will absolutely play on this show at some point. The studio is still around. They've since been rechristened as a little obscure studio by the name of Namco Tales Studio, where they're responsible for every game in the Tales series.
Yeah.
So, humble beginnings. Megatech Magazine reviewed this game in their December 1991 issue, gave the game a score of 53%, presumably out of 100, criticized the physics of the ball movement as jerky and unrealistic, and called the game jolly, but fairly unchallenging. So we will see. Actually, Charky will see. I'm going to put this one in your capable hands, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I like me a Genesis game.
Right,
so.
the random noises I was making was me reacting to finding out this team went on to make all the Tales of Games.
Yeah. It's a funny little turn of fate, isn't it? Give me a second while I
hope this
prepare
has like
game.
Ernest Evans style animation.
God, you would hope so, but I don't believe so, unfortunately. They missed a trick with that one. Ernest Evans, by the way, if you don't know what the fuck we're talking about and why I pop for Ernest Evans, look up Ernest Evans, and you will quickly figure out. 2 seconds while I... Is this the right aspect ratio? Well, it's the pixel aspect ratio, but it is... This might be one I stretched to 4:3, just because... 2 seconds.
Yeah, it looks a little off like this.
Sharky's still gonna have to play it like this, though.
I'll leave it.
Beginner.
That's the default. Yeah. Oh, beginner, because they're dinosaurs and they're big.
That's clearly what they meant. Clearly was not a mistake.
Okay, let's do it.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. I found the buttons. Let's. All right, got it.
So we've had it mentioned, I think, a few times in the chat, and my immediate reaction to this was I assume this was made by the Devil Crush team because the graphics are so on the nose, and the gameplay here, like having the little creatures moving around the board, and those being what you hit instead of like bumpers and things like that. This looks potentially legally infringing some of the graphics on this.
Honestly, I'm not.
Not too much, but when you
that.
get to the bottom part of the table.
Okay, we'll see when we get there. Yeah.
Mr. Taco says these dinosaurs look like Korean arcade platformer player characters.
It's nice getting to back to a pinball game that kinda actually feels like it has physics that makes sense. Although I completely see what they
Right
mean
when
by
you said-
jerky.
Yeah, right when you said that, the ball did do some very strange stuff.
Yeah, we're dropping frames here like crazy, and that is...
that too.
My computer can handle Sega Genesis games, I assure you that this would be something on the game's end.
It even still, like, when I hit the ball, it feels correct. It's just like I'm having moments, like lapses of consciousness very quickly.
Well, that's no good.
No, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like with how, like, the frames are dropping. I'm still not seeing the... I mean, conceptually, yes, but not...
You see these round ones? I swear one of the Crush games, like the 1X symbols and things like that. I'm trying to remember which one it is, though.
I think I've played all of the Crush games, and I don't... I'm not seeing it.
I'm double checking because it's been a while.
I want to see what a boss fight looks like in this.
You know how to activate a boss fight?
No.
It's potential. If I had to guess, that big old... Yep. Nope, never mind. My guess was... Oh, wait, there's a boss thing on there. I gotta light up that.
Maybe knock out all the baddies with crowns. Oh, right back to the Creole here.
I had some sort of save activated.
Certainly
This
one of
is
the more
fine.
forgiving pinball games.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they did say in the review that it was fairly easy, I guess.
It scored
Okay,
low, and the frame drops. This really struck me as something that should not be happening.
Yeah.
It struck me
I mean,
as...
it's... I will say it's doing something wrong. But compared to everything else we've played tonight, it's doing stuff better.
Yeah, and comparatively, this game is great. Compared to the shit we played tonight...
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah, it's not as legally...
Does it have any sort of protection against this? I'm willing to wait this out. You think they programmed anything in there to say, like, hey, this ball's not moving? You know, I was playing Pinball FX, I think, like 2 back in the day, and there was a Spider-Man table, and I did something fucked up, and the ball ended up outside of the table and on, like, the floor next to the virtual table.
Try to
I just
tilt
couldn't
this,
do
by the way,
anything. The
please.
ball was gone.
Oh,
Tilt doesn't work.
In Spider-Man...
no, I'm seeing the tilt. It's just not doing
it's
anything.
not doing... Okay,
Oh,
there we go.
there we go. Okay, yeah, it's very similar, but it's not as one-to-one with some of the Crush pinball sprites as I thought. But this is... If you've never played any of the Crush pinball games, definitely check them out. But this is very similar to that style.
I can see what you're saying, but like I don't think it's
It's not as
that
much as I
close.
thought. Yeah.
because I played them fairly recently. I'm
I
getting
definitely
this
think
lot,
it's the
so-
inspiration, though. Though I don't think they did an amazing job at replicating the style.
Okay, so you got took care of all those ones.
There it goes.
Yeah, Crush Table's
All
gonna
right.
be...
This is an issue with this game. I know I was praising it, but that happening a lot is an issue.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen more than once. There should just be natural measures in place other than, yeah, let's use the tilt.
I would really
I
love
wonder
to know
why
how
the frame
you
rate is so
activate the
bad
boss.
when it scrolls.
I think to activate the boss, you notice how some of the dinosaurs have flashing crowns?
Yes. Oh, I need to go down. So I'll go down.
My guess is that you take care of everyone who has a crown on them.
Oh, boss is lit.
Okay, so I was wrong.
Yo, that boss is lit.
Okay, I need to go down. Can you rewind me? I really want to see that boss.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Well, that's not gonna.
That's not gonna help.
You could have to. Well, unless you tilt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got the slots again.
It's funny because if you play these, like multi-level tables, sometimes it's really hard to get back up to the top. This one, it seems actually really hard to stay on the bottom. Hey, it's a beginner-friendly table at least.
Why is it? It's really hard to get past those guys. Maybe now that they're knocked out, it'll be easier.
Yeah. So
I know why that thing is on the bottom because I'm playing on beginner.
Ah, okay. That's nice. It's nice they give you that. Okay. I've not actually played the Mega Drive version.
Whoa, flashing lights.
Oh, yeah.
That must be the boss.
Oh wow, that looks like a Chrono Trigger sprite. Not like a specific character, but just.
Oh, is that the boss? I thought I was gonna go to like a different screen or something. Oh wait.
Are you controlling
slot
this?
machine?
Ah.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Whoa. This is the boss. This is the boss. I was delivered.
This game, it's a shame this game does not play better because it is really cute and jolly.
Wait, what? What? Fucking rewind. Excuse me.
No, I was done. That's what it was. That was my shot. I am almost certain that was not a glitch. That was just how that functions.
So I'm gonna have to check this out on my own time. I've not actually played the version of Devil Crush that's on Mega Drive, but I can't imagine the scrolling and frame rate is as bad as this on that version.
So hey, for those of you in the Discord who were hoping that we were gonna play Devil Crush, next best thing, we're spending this entire section talking about Devil Crush.
Yeah. And I'm glad I have both of you on because I don't know dick about shit when it comes to good games. That's not my wheelhouse. That's not my forte. Believe it or not.
That reminds me, the developer's new pinball game, I think came out on Steam like last month. That's like a modern take on the Crush formula.
There was also a different modern take on Crush from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember the name of. Devil Crush?
That would be a little on the nose.
I'm good. See if I can check.
By the way, I think that's this game.
I think you might be right. There's more to it, but
what's it called?
Okay, so Demon's Till is the spiritual successor.
Demon's Till. That was it.
And this is Dino Land for reference.
And then the one that just came out, though I think it's like in early access maybe, is Xeno Tilt.
Is that anything to do with Xeno Warrior Princess?
No, like X.
All right, then I got nothing.
Yeah, like
Sad to say.
Xenomorph or the Atari Xenophobe game.
The next game on the list today is one that is going to be a little curious to try and cover because it's not fully functional, but I just had to put it on. I have to show off as much of it as I can, which might not be much, but this is Pinball for the Philips CDI, developed by Capital Disc Interactive Corporation and published by Philips Interactive Media in 1991. From the back of the box, see an entire pinball arcade with flashing lights, full digital sound effects, and challenging playing fields materialize before your very eyes. The robotic Cyber combines fast action with a complicating factor. Try to launch the ball from the magnet for higher scores. Enter the world of World War I and Dogfight. Your mission is to shoot down Fokkers and other planes as you...
Wait, what? Sorry,
Hold up,
what?
wait, stop.
Fokkers.
Wait, I see it.
Fokkers. Fokkers.
Oh, like the movie Meet the Fokkers. Yeah.
In other planes, as you traverse the war from countryside, your flippers have gas tanks in them, so don't use them carelessly. Spring Break is filled with beach babes, surfer dudes, and major wave action. Try to spell the word Spring Break by hitting the beach balls. Once you do, take a trip into the local cafe for bonus scores. Meltdown is totally nuclear.
That's all we have to say about that table.
Yeah, that's apparently the biggest
so-
one, though, which is a curious thing. That's apparently the main table
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah, okay, so this does have multiple tables.
It
That's
has
what I was
4
gonna
tables.
ask.
It was describing all 4 of those tables for us.
Okay.
Philips CDI emulation, not great. Barely even acceptable. Not even acceptable, I would dare to say. But you can at least boot into the Philips CDI, and you can boot into this game. I've had it crash and burn in the middle of tables, but it's not going to stop me giving it a shot right now. We will see how far I can get, and I'll see if I can do a save state on the menu to maybe skip this every time we want to play it. Oh, Philips CDI. One of these days.
But for how edutainment interactive media the CDI is, I'm shocked that someone was able to get away with naming anything in their game Fokker. That's...
Z Reserve says Fokker is a Dutch aircraft manufacturer that made World War I fighter planes.
Oh, I'm sure that's the reference they were going for.
CDI Pinball. Oh,
Ooh.
man. It's got a soundtrack, I can tell you that much.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
I want to save state this here. This is Cyber.
This cursor speed, by the way.
Dogfight. Spring Break. Meltdown, which has no music. No fanfare about it.
Ah.
Oh, I think the music just broke, period.
Yeah. It's a minor thing to talk about, again, because it's a pinball game, but that cursor speed. Molasses.
That's a CDI for you.
I knew it wasn't the case, but part of me was hoping this was CDI pinball, as in, like, oh, this is pinball tables based on, quote, famous CDI games.
Yeah, not quite.
So
I don't think there were many of those to go around.
Faces of Evil, pinball table, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, Plants of, no, I've forgotten his name, Grant Thorpe.
The Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe.
Yeah, that's it, Mapplethorpe, yeah.
So this isn't good.
It moves,
No.
though.
Yeah, a little too much.
It's real fucking zippy.
She moves. Yeah!
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Oh, I like this.
Ooh.
Your guess is as good as mine, folks.
So any idea if these, like, while you're playing the table, were they supposed to have BGM music?
I doubt it for these games. Or there are sound effects in some of the stages that are like ambient. That was Cyber. 1 down, 3 to go.
Again, also minor thing, but the fact they could only manage 2 frames of animate. Well, I don't even want to call it animation. on the flippers. They couldn't do any in between frames. That was too much for this system.
Dogfight time.
All right. Fuck those fuckers. Get in there.
CDI dogfight, not to be confused with any other dogfight you might be.
Mm-hmm.
I like it's not dog fight, it's dogfight. One word.
Keep scrolling. Keep going.
Oh, really cinematic.
I love the gunshot sounds for it.
This sucks.
Oh,
Like, that's the table?
Yeah.
I thought graphics were gonna draw in afterwards.
This is an open world pinball game.
There's a physical kids Marvel's Hulk pinball table I had as a kid that I think was better than this. And that one didn't even keep track of score.
Doesn't take much to be
I
better than this.
I say open world pinball game, and now I have to check if we own Creature in the Well. I've always wanted to play that game. There was like a weird action pinball game or something like that. You know, this isn't one of them, but I really like pinball games that aren't pinball tables.
Sure, like a
per
wizard.
se. Wizorb is like more of a breakout, to be honest.
Fair.
But like a Rollers of the Realm or a Yaku, I think it's Yaku's delivery service.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Yaku.
Not Yakub from history, not the man who. I'm not even going to go into those jokes. Never
There's
mind.
one you played that has
that?
a really similar name to Yaku. Yeah, Yoku. Is
Yoku,
that Yoku's
maybe?
Island Express?
Yoku's Island Express. Thank you. That's what it is.
Yeah. I've seen you play that one in the Discord. That one looks
Yeah.
really cool.
But yeah, I like pinball games that use the mechanic. Paranoia Escape, rather, is another one. Like games that use the mechanics of pinball to play without actually really being pinball in the traditional sense. We didn't include it on the show, but I just realized people were talking. We didn't include it on the show, but Pinball Quest on NES had some normal pinball tables, but also had an RPG pinball thing going on. It wasn't great, but it was.
It made an effort.
Too good for this. It was too good for this show.
Yeah, this is more our tempo. This is more our speed here on the Bad Game Hall of Fame.
I do wonder how much the speed is intentional, because sometimes it looks like the game is running faster, but
Emulation is not perfect, to be sure.
Yeah. But that also might be me playing devil's advocate.
Do I have Pretty Sure in the Well on my wish list?
Fuck.
No, I'm adding it to my wish
Let me
list.
double check something.
I want to get all those letters. I want to see what happens if I spell out spring. I want to hear more of this bopping music.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, I thought it crashed. No such luck.
Also, yes, I had to double check. Devil's Advocate is the pinball game in The Simpsons that Homer plays at one point. Which I'm hoping someday someone makes into a real table, even though we have nothing to go off. We don't get to see the table. But just so we can finally, after centuries of saying we're going to play Devil's Advocate, actually play it.
I think there's, if I remember this correctly, there is a Family Guy pinball table, like an actual physical.
Yep, that's
Family
highly
Guy pinball
acclaimed,
table.
yeah.
Yeah, and they include the idea of the cutaway joke that they always have in Family Guy by having like a smaller pinball table on the pinball table.
Yeah,
which isn't like a totally unique thing, but I like that.
I really want to play that table.
How do you hit that S?
Oh, maybe Pinball Effects should get the right to...
This is what I wanted to see more of, was the grunting that this table does.
Wait, I think it's not the Family Guy pinball table, but I think I have a Family Guy pinball table on Pinball FX. I think it was part of one of their DLCs. Fuck! Oh, can I complain about Pinball FX? Because I do this
as we
all
move
the
on
time,
to
but
the
I want to
last
complain.
table.
And Bobinay points out, fun fact, that Family Guy table was reskinned as a Shrek one in Europe.
Oh.
So yeah, if you really can't stand the IP, there is a alternative way to play it.
Okay, so I really like playing Pinball FX 3. Pinball FX started as Zen Pinball.
Mm-hmm.
Zen Studios made it. Then Zen Pinball became Zen Pinball 2. All your Zen Pinball tables moved over to Zen Pinball 2. Zen Pinball 3 came out. All your Zen Pinball 2 and 1 tables moved over to Zen Pinball 3, except for a few exceptions. There was like a Street Fighter table that never made the jump. There was a Ninja Gaiden Sigma table that never made the
great
jump.
Start there, Cass.
Thank you.
And then at a certain point, Zen released Pinball Effects. Not 4, just Pinball Effects. You could buy the tables, but you could also get a subscription to it that's every month. And that doesn't even get you all the tables.
Mm-hmm.
And any table you had for Pinball FX 3 or 2 or the first one, do not carry over. They have all those tables in the new Pinball FX, but you gotta buy them all over again. fucking hate that.
That's messed up. I'm gonna let the chat know. Be thankful we're talking over this one because this table sounds awful.
Yeah, this is maybe the worst one, even though it was sold to me as being the best one.
Pinball Effects also released a new one called like Pinball Effects M or something like that. That is literally an M-rated pinball game for tables that are based on like horror properties. I think there's also a Duke Nukem thing in there.
I believe it.
Which is, I understand why they do that, because if you make those tables in the base game, you have to change the rating.
Yeah,
But it's still weird. There's also, it took me like 2 hours to completely nerd out about pinball on this pinball stream. There's also, if you have Netflix, you may have easily forgotten that you can download mobile games through Netflix. Because they don't advertise that shit.
It's like YouTube has games on it.
Yeah, which, okay, I will say, the games on Netflix are way better than the games on YouTube. They're actually mobile games. Like, you can get Into the Breach on Netflix. Anyway, they have a game on there called Pinball Master. And most generic title, most generic icon on the thing. And you go in there, and it's actually Zen Pinball. Like, it's secretly a Zen Studios pinball game with a bunch of unique tables based on movie licenses. Like, there's Godzilla and King Kong, and they have the Addams Family, like the actual Addams Family table. And you would never know that it's actually a really good pinball game. It just looks like the most generic shit.
Hold on. Oh, I thought something exciting was going to happen. Never mind. Sorry.
This looks horrible to control.
Oh, you don't say!
Like, while Chucky was explaining that, I was like physically cringing at some of the ways the ball was reacting to the flippers. And just these pure industrial sounds without any music. I'm gonna completely nerd out. I swear that sound effect is in Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, I mean that is absolutely a stock sound effect.
Scream.
Yeah.
You know, there's when you're walking around the apartments and you hear
Fucking
a random
whatever.
scream. No.
No. I'm
there.
talking about this. I'm talking about this fucking game. Fucking whatever.
No. You know the puzzle in the prison area where there's the noose.
It's been so long. It's been so long.
Okay, so there's a big courtyard area that has like a like a hangman's fin on it. And that's you have to climb up to it and get something.
Six players.
But I was not expecting to hear a Silent Hill 2 sound effects
in our pinball night tonight.
Yeah.
Silent Hill Pinball, Zen Studios. I'm still angry at you, but get on it.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. I do like this song though.
That was Pinball on the CDI. It didn't crash, so this is more or less playable. In current CDI emulation, which is impressive.
The way you hyped it up, I thought we were gonna even do this one.
I'm gonna still put playable in quotation marks.
Yeah, fair. Gameplay. Absolutely fucking fair.
Oh, it's illegal to make unauthorized copies.
Well,
oh fuck, 5 years and $50,000.
Folks, now more than ever, donate to the Bad Game Hall of Fame, subscribe, and so on and so forth.
By the way, I'm not gonna say what, but we are thinking of new exclusives for the Patreon to make it a little bit more worth your while than it already is.
To compel and persuade folk to pay.
And it's something I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely.
We'll see. We'll announce it when the time is right.
Yes. When we have a better shape and inform factor for what that thing will be. But for now, we still have more games to get to. More painful pinball games.
No, we don't. We have a good pinball game coming up.
So you want to play this one then?
Yeah.
All right, it's going to be you, and it's going to be Sonic the Hedgehog SpinBall. That is the real name of this game. That is the actual name of this game. People just call it Sonic SpinBall. No, if you notice, next to Sonic, it is Sonic, then vertically, the Hedgehog SpinBall. That is the SKU name for this.
I've never noticed that's what that part was.
That's the actual name of the game, and no one has called it in the 30 years since it came out.
Yeah.
So
it's like all the games on Nintendo 64 that people put 64 as a subtitle that don't actually have it. Yeah.
GoldenEye 64. No. This is Sonic the Hedgehog SpinBall for the Sega Genesis, developed by Sega Technical Institute and published by Sega on November 23rd, 1993. As the story goes, the game was developed by the American staff of Sega Technical Institute, as the Japanese staff of Sega was occupied with developing Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic & Knuckles. When Sega management realized that Sonic 3 would not be completed in time for the 1993 holiday shopping season, they commissioned another Sonic game. This excerpt is from an interview with Sega Technical Institute designer Peter Morawek. This is from Retro Gamer's 36th issue. To quote, "The marketing research folks indicated that Sonic's casino levels were among the favorites, birthing the idea of the overall direction. I honestly don't know who came up with that, but it sounded fun and doable, so STI jumped on it." Unfortunately, despite this idea, the game was still not predicted to be able to be completed in time for that holiday release. So as a result, Sega Technical Institute changed the programming language of the game from assembly, which games were traditionally programmed in at this time, to C. An unusual choice for Genesis games at the time, to quote wherever I quoted this from. Morawek said that the choice caused frame rate and optimization problems, but greatly accelerated development. After a 9-month development cycle, Sonic SpinBall was released for the Genesis in November 1993, with conversions to the Game Gear in 1994 and the Master System in 1995.
Sad Keys says, I don't think this game is bad. And they're right.
Well, I've played it. And I think it might be okay, but one thing for sure that is bad, and I will
No, you're wrong.
Well, I guess the audience will be the fucking judge when we get to it. You know what we're getting to. You know what we're getting to here, so make sure to show it off in all its glory.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. I want to show this cute little Sega screen here. Any excuse to see Tails on screen. Let the intro play out first. Because I do like the little intro.
Genesis sound chip.
I like the Genesis sound chip. I do not like the way it sounds in this game, this gem shit. People in the chat, Bob Maynard saying, my biggest hot take of all time, the options music is fine, you nerds. Ah!
Yeah! Now, let's go to the options so we can really listen to it.
Yeah.
Fucking love this.
Ugh. I fucking hate it. I despise it.
Oh, anyone who says the song sucks is a coward.
This is on the Bad Game Music Hall of Fame, and the number of people I get on a daily basis leaving comments to this day that this music is not bad and I'm a nerd.
I am always DMing you every day. I say, good morning, Cass. This song rocks.
Oh, this part's okay. This part I can tolerate. It's like a moment of reprieve. A moment of peace in these trying times.
But wait for it.
Ugh.
Alright. I'm not even being ironic. I love that song.
Different strokes for different folks. So,
in this game, when you're not in pinball mode, you're controlling Sonic like Sonic. Granted, I use that loosely. The physics are very weird.
The slowdown is fucking egregious.
It is.
So I have played this one a little bit. Weird time for it though. There was a brief time in my high school where you were able to load emulators on the school computers via USB. I think someone had given this to me, and I remember trying it, and yeah, it didn't gel with me. But we are talking a very long time ago.
I'm a little rusty because I haven't played this in a while, so I don't remember Cluck alert, I don't remember everything to progress, because to get to the boss, you need to get all 3 emeralds on this stage. So I've unlocked that, but now I'm gonna have to get up there somehow. Yeah,
that's the thing I remember, is just I could never get past this first table when I played.
I can fairly consistently
Sewer
get past
time!
this first table.
It said, you see the big fucking cuck alert.
Oh, Cucky, yeah.
Racing bridge, okay.
I wonder
Give
if
enough
Cucky
time,
is
I
in
can
this.
consistently get past this table, but hopefully I can do
Also,
it
we
at
know
speed here.
we know this is a real video game because sewer level.
Yes.
Yeah. First level's a sewer level.
People in the chat, I've noticed that people are saying this game is fine. The Game Gear version is the one to look out for. Did I fuck up by putting the Genesis version on? I don't think I did, because that music I still stand by.
I can whoop, get up there and save myself.
I'm trying to remember when you're just in, I guess, ball form. Is there any manual control over Sonic, or is it just physics?
I think it's just physics.
Okay.
A classic
okay.
sewer warp.
So what I need to do, I need to get all those barrels on the right side. I need to go back up there where the worms are one more time, and that'll open up that path. Does it open? Ah, come on. There we go. So that opened that up. And yep. Get up there.
Yeah,
So get up
it's
there.
again, vague memory, but I remember having a lot of trouble whenever you had to do
Okay.
actual running around platforming in this.
I'm trying to remember which way to go for this. I think it's
I
this way.
slightly changed the
Yes.
aspect ratio for the audience at home, by the way, because this is one of those games where it renders wider. It renders more horizontally than it does. It's not 4:3 precisely. But now I'm stretching to 4:3, so let me know if that's better or worse, folks.
All right, 2 more emeralds.
Or if you even noticed it all.
How do I get up there again?
I would be curious to try if anyone ever tried to remake this
Get up-
with
get
a
up
better
there.
frame rate.
Get up there. Get up.
Maybe even like zoom out the table a bit more.
I mean, Sonic fans are certainly dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
So if any franchise, if any one of the major franchises would have fan remakes of every game, even the ones that people generally do not like, it would be the Sonic community. And God bless them for it. To be clear, and in case folk don't know, this is a pro-Sonic show. That we are
Yes.
pro Sonic the Hedgehog here on this Bad Game Hall of Fame.
Pro Sonic the Hedgehog conceptually. Sometimes
Yes,
the
conceptually.
games aren't so much.
Not all the games are good. Sad Keys in chat says, hot take. So the hot take, everyone. But Sonic
My hot
kind of had a
takes.
rough transition from 2D to 3D. No! Slander! No, you're... Of course, it's...
I mean, I know that
Clockwork.
statement will upset some Sonic fans, legitimately.
I know Shane right now, Rerez, is working on their Sonic 06 video, which is shaping up to be
An epic.
very long in development, too.
Alright, if I can... I would love to get that other emerald. And I need to remember how to get that center emerald. Because if I get all 3 emeralds, then I can get back up to the boss.
It's also a minor thing, but sometimes Sonic looks so off-brand here.
Yeah, it's because he's based on the ABC
yeah.
show, the Stat
Yes.
Am, or... Yeah.
You can definitely see that when you see Robotnik.
Yeah, like he's fine
Actually, well,
here,
yeah,
but
yeah,
some of the poses, like when you got the emerald, for example, it was like bootleg Sonic came out of nowhere.
Remember Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine?
Yeah,
How
the
that
Puyo
one's
Puyo.
based-
Yeah.
And how like that Robotnik is based on the really goofy cartoon one?
Mm-hmm.
The Pingus one. Buck alert. Alright. Now, I went left last time, so you go right this time. Well, okay, the rings are kind of a dead giveaway.
Ah!
That's 2.
Oh, my right ear like that.
Hey, chat. Do you remember how to get that one in the middle? Because I don't. I could use the help.
And don't worry, Sakis, I got your joke. I was just playing along. I was just trying to get it across to the viewer. To the viewers at home.
Do I have to go through the explosive barrel one?
Drain the ooze, says Official Mercy.
I did drain the ooze. I just need to know how to actually physically get up there.
Oh, use the barrel row to
Okay.
to row over to it, says Video Game King. So the one that you...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, see, this is my problem It's just I remember the actual progression stuff being very obscure.
Oh, I like that about this. It's like an adventure.
Oh yeah. That's maybe my personal taste.
Okay. If I can get up there again, I do have to do the worm thing again. So once I do that, I can get to the boss.
At least this game is very forgiving. As far as, you know, you land in the center, you still have a chance to jump over the thing that comes for you.
It does get harder in later levels. I will say, as much as I do like this game...
This sucks. Whatever's happening here, this fucking obnoxious.
My timing is bad.
Yeah.
But the sluggishness of it and the slowdown of it is not ideal. I will admit that this is not a great game, even if I really like it.
People in chat, by the way, are saying you should definitely play Yoku's Express or
Oh, yeah,
Island Express.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. That's one I really like. All right, focus. There we go.
I might make you play the Game Gear version after this. You're having too good a time right now.
I am really curious to see that version because I've never seen it actually.
Yeah, I might abandon format. I might skip some of the games we were intending to play tonight. Because again, this is a multi-episode series we're coming. We're gonna come back to Painful Pinball. We still have way more games on the list. Only a few of which I actually have prepared and ready to go tonight because I didn't know how long or how short the early part of the show would take, how quickly we'd be flying through some of the more primitive games. So
for the sake of moving this along, can you rewind me?
Say when.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. All right, win. Whoa. Okay, rewind a little bit more.
Too bad.
There we go. Oh, I don't have to do that again. Okay. Up.
Official Mercy asks, were we intending to play Crew
Boss-
Ball on the
boss music.
Genesis?
Oh yeah, the quote, what's the
Motley
best
Crue
way to
game.
phrase this? But yeah, but it's like in scare quotes because they're they're not actually really involved.
Anyone ever play the Motorhead game on Amiga? The beat 'em up, the Motorhead beat 'em up.
I did not know there was one.
There is. I think Crew Ball I'm gonna save for a video games based on bands episode,
Oh yeah.
which is why I was
Hell.
thinking about that.
Got it.
Hey, we get to look at the leaked version of that Metallica car combat game that got cancelled.
Ooh, Genesis can't handle this.
I don't know if the build's out there, but you can definitely find footage of it.
And then we get a bonus game.
Worm loops. Let's see the bonus game in this.
Trapped alive. Freedom.
Okay, yeah. I do like how this looks, and you got the little reflection.
Imagine the Game Gear game was just this.
Okay, I don't like that.
No, it's not just that, but...
No, the ball instantly going...
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it is a bonus game. This is meant to be punishing. This is meant to be mean, I imagine, because you're just doing it for extra points.
Yeah.
Tails!
Well, at least we saved Tails.
Wait, can you rewind quick? Okay, is it that his eyelids?
Yeah,
just
he's
looks
based
really
on the
an-
cart.
Because he looks really annoyed.
It's
He
the
kinda
little,
looks like
it's
that
a
in the
little
cartoon.
smirk he has, too. The little, like...
Yeah.
He looks like he's concentrating. Slamming it down. Pump it up.
That was got a flicky.
I do like all the messages at the top of the screen. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's.
He
Oh,
is
there's
smart.
Sally and the little walrus guy. And Grand Slam,
Grand
brought to you
Slam.
by Denny's.
And got it. Oh wow! Thanks for the
I
rewind.
don't
We
know
got to
why
see-
I was thinking of a Grand Slam as well. And I've never been to a Denny's. I just go to Greg's
Let's take a brief look at this next table. See what it looks like.
and Little Chef.
Pong. That always makes me think of Garfield. That figure up there that we just passed. Something about it makes me think of Garfield. Baron alert. See him?
Oh, I kind of see that, yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I've ever seen this table.
I think I watched a long play of this at some point because I'm like, well, I'm never gonna play this. I'm never gonna tolerate this long enough to play it myself. So this is one of the
I
ones
think this
where
might be this might be enough of this one.
that might be enough of this one.
Yeah,
And I think that's
this table. Yeah, I really this game isn't great. See, it's harder here because
The way he jitters when he dies, by the way, they never understood how they fucked that up. But that is Sonic SpinBall for the Sega Genesis.
As I was going to say, I admit this game's not great, but I do love this game.
Well, how do you feel about Sonic's the Hedgehog SpinBall for the Game Gear?
I have never played this one.
Well, prepare to have played this one. He's trying to take his shoe off, but it's stuck on there pretty tight.
They're glued on.
Sonic Labyrinth all over again.
All right, do we have the music?
No. They learned their lesson.
I'm not even gonna try.
Must gonna have to increase the volume. Oh, I see what they're trying to do, but
Tails, please build a second seat in this thing.
This is significantly lower in the mix than the previous game, so I'm adjusting the stuff on the fly.
So in this one, Sonic dives in there on purpose instead of being shot down. Okay, okay, I see the buttons now. I had to adjust. Oh, this is definitely a different layout. Oh, goodbye. All right.
Sadkey says, dude, imagine how cool it would be to play Sonic SpinBall in public. No. What's that horrible sound? Actually, it's not that bad. Actually, it sounds cool to me.
I mean, that's what the Nomad is for. Okay, no means of saving yourself on this one, so harder game. Whoa, wow.
What a piece of shit!
Can I repeat that?
Oh, okay, so if you just launch yourself, Ron, that's it, donezo.
Okay, I have a little air control in this one. A little.
Not much.
Okay. This is... You know what? I will say this is worse, but it runs better.
That's it?
With slowdown? Like, in terms of, like...
I guess it's a more
maintaining
consistent...
frame rate?
Yeah, it's more consistent.
It plays worse, but, like, the frame rate is better. And as we know, frame rate is the #1 determining factor of what a good game is.
Yes. Nothing else, except no substitutes. No other metrics or qualifications.
The navigation looks even more confusing in this one. Whoa.
Well, it's because you have such little screen real estate. On this basically 1x1 screen.
And the stages are way bigger, too. Or way more open.
That just means they're less populated. They're less dense with stuff.
I would love to know what it's supposed to be doing here. You were saying, like, how kind of esoteric the Genesis game was in terms of, like, what you're supposed to do. This is way more.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're going down there.
I mean, there are some blinking arrows, but they're also really hard to notice.
I don't know how I'm supposed to get up into some of these things.
Yeah, I'm not quite... Well...
Okay, we're going that way. Going up here.
Tier 2.
Alright, that's recognizable.
It is cute, the attempts to recreate, to demake, to encapsulate the Genesis version on this.
I can't make that progress unless it hits the other thing, and it doesn't want to do that. Because the physics are worse in this one. Even admitting that the physics aren't great in the Genesis version, they're worse in this one.
Maybe the frame rate's more consistent, but I don't know, something about this frame rate I don't like looking at for some reason.
Oh, goodbye. Well, no, I shouldn't have done that.
Asking you shall receive.
Thank you. Whoop. Okay.
Spin dash?
Yeah.
That top right portion just looks unfinished. It looks like it just fades away into nothingness.
You know what? I'm gonna say I think that's enough of this one. I don't know. Okay, wait. Let's see.
I'm gonna save you. I can't save you.
Try again, one more time. I'm gonna hold back. Okay. Alright, it's the left bumper.
God, you had 2 emeralds by this point. You had 2 emeralds already by this point in the Genesis game.
And now I'm gonna say I think that'll do it for this one.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
I know folk are calling
anywhere.
for it. There's some folks saying end.
What? We got. You have 1 emerald. You need 2 more.
Really couldn't scroll down any faster, could they?
That'll fucking do it. Can't play him to completion, folks. We don't have the time or patience or inclination.
Noble attempt at making this, but either not commissioned this or made a more original game like the Master System version of Sonic 1.
Yeah. We have time for one more, I think, tonight.
Sure.
One that has been requested, called for, referenced. Make sure I have the right slide loaded up here. There's a plane flying overhead.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
PaTaank is how it's pronounced. It's pronounced PaTaank. It's the onomatopoeia for the sound a pinball or puck makes when it's hitting a surface. So it's not.
Did you see that? Did you see that? PaTaank girl got her own podcast now.
Shut up. PaTaank for the 3DO, developed by PF.Magic and published by Crystal Dynamics in North America and BMG Interactive in Europe and Japan on November 3rd, 1994. There is a warning on the back of the box, so everyone pay attention, heed this at home. Warning contains explicit, in-your-face 3D action, lightning-fast turns and high-speed jumps. Not recommended for mild-mannered, lily-livered, weak-kneed, feeble-minded, faint-hearted folks with bad backs, bad breath, or bad gas. Oh, I gotta walk away from this one. I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's
folks.
messed up.
PaTaank was
If
developed...
you got IBS, get the fuck out.
This
got
game
back
ain't for you,
problems.
Grandpa. PaTaank was developed by San Francisco-based PF.Magic for the affiliate Crystal Dynamics, the latter of which had established itself as a sought-after name early in the life of the 3DO, as if it had a long life. It was the first game signed to the company's publishing partner program for publishing, sales, and distribution in early 1994. Producer Rob Fulop suggested that it was the console's manufacturer, the 3DO company, that paid for the product's production. From what I remember of my interview with Rebecca Heineman, Burger Becky, when we were doing the Doom 3DO article, yeah, the 3DO company seemed to step in on a lot of this stuff and just pay for it, pay to get games on their console, pay to sign people away into exclusivity deals or whatever the case may be. And if a game was flagging behind in development, they would just pay to put, like, you know, specialists on the case, the fixers, if you will. So that line there absolutely parses. In case Rob Fulop's name sounds familiar to any of you, by the way, he was responsible for Missile Command and Demon Attack on the 2600, as well as, and this is going to be a full circle moment here, the 1979 Superman pinball machine that we mentioned earlier, the one that inspired the design of pinball on the 2600. So everything comes full circle there. Not only all that, but he was a partner of Nolan Bushnell at the company Axlon, who went on to shop the Project Nemo, which ultimately resulted in the formation of Digital Pictures to produce FMV titles for the Sega CD, including Night Trap. Everything fucking comes back to Night Trap, and just like that, everything comes back to the 1993 Senate Committee hearings on video games, where, in the result of all the furor and press around that, Fulop became concerned about the messages video games were sending out to children. This, in turn, inspired Fulop's next game, which he decided would be so cute and quote-unquote sissy that no one could claim that video games had an effect on youth, a harmful effect on youth. The end result was 1995's Dogs, spelled with a Z, Your Computer Pet, which was released by PF.Magic, the company he co-founded. The game proved to be popular and kickstarted the Pets franchise of pet simulation video games. Next Generation magazine reviewed this game in their first ever issue back in January 1995, rating it 2 stars out of 5 and stating that it's, quote, an interesting idea done badly. So that is the history behind PaTaank. And now let's see the game, why don't we? Our last game of tonight, unless something goes horribly wrong. So bear with me. And Bag?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have you play this one.
Oh, okay.
See, PF.Magic. Oh, I just realized I need to adjust volume for this one.
PaTaank. You are about to take a wild ride on 3 of the most tooth-jarring
Whoa.
levels in the world. Shoot the curl on the ultimate wave in the surf room. Set the heart on fire in the carnival of love. Or go for the ultimate mayhem in Disaster Central. Visit each room separately. Or face the ultimate challenge of the meta game. Miles of hair-raising tunnels. Warning!
I swear, Shim and Eric hired that guy for. Oh, it did. Keep going.
People suffering from heart conditions, nausea, or dizziness should play at their own risk.
Oh, I'm warned.
Got all that?
And be sure to stick around for Truckosaurus.
I was gonna say, I swear Tim and Eric hired that guy for the Turbo Fuel Maximum Energy Soda commercial.
They hired the editor, too, whoever did the, the cutting on that.
Sounds exactly like the fake energy drink commercial they made for Tim and Eric.
You should be in control.
Yep.
Hall of Fame, Rob Phillip, there he is.
Ah! Okay.
Level, metagame. Wait, what's the difference between... Oh, level is the table. Difficulty is the difficulty.
Okay. Alright. I haven't quite got the buttons here yet. We'll figure it out.
There's ABC, L and R, and then like a select to start equivalent. It's preparing the level. I'd love to cover more 3DO games on this show.
Welcome to the Carnival of Love. In this level, your objective is to set the heart on fire. To do this, you will need to collect tickets, ride the tunnel of love, and hit the love meter to advance your romance level from clammy to sizzling. If you are sizzling when you ride the tunnel of love, you will set the heart on fire. Lane lights advance multipliers. Magnetos help you navigate. And the drain takes away your pucks.
Got all that?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. You know what? I doubt it was an inspiration, but I feel some of the energy of this game ended up in Flipnik.
I'm just getting Cyberdillo vibes from it, but that's my point of reference. Flipnik's great, by the way. Flipnik shows up on some of the lists of worst pinball games. You drained, you failed, you lost.
Okay. How do I control this?
Player 1, shoot again.
Shoot me again, I did it. Because I didn't see any paddles.
Yeah, I don't know if you control the UFO here.
Okay.
You know what this is giving me vibes of? Balls 3D. This looks like a Balls 3D stage here with all like the screens in the background and shit.
Yeah. Ow. I don't know how you do anything in this game.
This looks like if you took a time machine back to if you were taking a time machine back to the 80s, but you fell out of the time stream in the 90s and were lost in like the ether of it.
Yeah, I figured out how to turn. I've got that going for me.
There's L and R too. Did I mention that?
Yeah, but if I press A, I like go forward a bit.
You paused it.
That's pause.
Oh, it's just from the balls, people. That explains a lot.
Oh,
Thanks,
okay.
Bominator.
Okay. Ow. And how do I control this? Yeah, so I was using element. Oh. Jesus. So I was using L and R to strafe, but apparently that's tilting.
Ready, player one.
I did figure out whatever A button is, you can like charge it and you do like a forward thrust motion and you steer with left and right.
Incomprehensible.
But
Vince Vodka Cheese asks, "Are you sure this is a pinball game?" It is meant to be.
It's a very abstracted take on pinball,
where you play as the ball. This is fucking sickening.
I am gritting my teeth right now trying to get anything going.
Mr. Taco asks, "Are you sure this is a video game?"
Yeah, that's
a way of life.
That's a fair question.
Only on the 3DO could.
Oh. Oh my, got a little kissy.
Hey, Charky, aren't you glad we're not the ones playing this one? Are you glad? We're just sitting over here. And I can look away from the screen if I want to. I can just drink my drink.
I'm looking at the screen. I'm facing the devil.
Okay, there's a little line at the top of the screen. You see it's red right now. When that's green, I can press the A button to do the forward launch. It doesn't help that it's also turning on its own. Sometimes I'm controlling like which way I'm facing, and sometimes it like auto.
Oh, I'm gonna be.
See
sick.
there? That wasn't me turning there.
I think Chad agrees with me.
Yeah, Main Dog said they were gonna vomit real quick. I'll join you.
There was the warning.
Nope.
Nah.
Goodbye.
You drain! Try using the magnetos!
Oh, of
What?
course. Use the magneto, right?
Yeah, I'll just pull
Duh.
them right up. Oh, okay, I still have.
I do need to look away from the screen.
This is the hard work that comes with scouring for bad games. They're not all pleasant to look at.
Okay, well, I spelt love.
Yeah, so now if you go down the Tunnel of Love, which I assume is a stage center there.
How do I get in there though?
You'll probably glitch your way in at this rate.
Okay, I'm noticing as well that top meter is going down.
So you can
But
bank.
how do
I think you can bank meter.
But I don't know how you get more meter.
Well, I think it recharges over time. So theoretically, if you went a very long time without boosting, which doesn't seem possible,
Yeah,
if you did that.
No,
God,
this
this
whole
frame rate.
section is just.
You can't have a game move this fast with this frame rate.
You can't have it bounce side to side when the camera does this. Does the things it's doing. You can't have it be behind the back. If this was at an angle.
Oh.
Try again later.
Okay. The game was not happy that I did that, apparently.
Yeah, how dare you do whatever you did.
Oh, okay, that's just giving me a multiplier.
So the magnetos are those blue things behind you. I said to use those, but I don't know how or why. Yeah, if the camera was like this the whole time and you had control over the ball from that like higher sort of bird's eye view, that'd be something.
We have to
Yeah,
find
I was
the
trying-
answer by ourselves.
Say something nice.
You drain! Try to
I've said like several nice things tonight, so someone else.
There's some... I do like the aesthetic in theory.
Does this game
Like,
ever end?
Okay, I think this is the final
Yes.
ball.
I've been paying attention to like the number of balls. This is the last one.
Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't give me progress.
God, imagine multi-ball in this game.
I'm trying to figure out if these would.
When I say something nice is that I can appreciate the oddball 90s aesthetic, the aggressive what's the word I'm looking for? What's the opposite of minimalism? Maximalism. See, the tunnel of love is closed right now until you hit the love meter.
It's Church of Subgenius.
So it's not making me nauseous, but I feel like I'm getting a headache playing this.
Oh, I have a positive for this. If you run out of Ipecac and you need to induce vomiting, this game works like a charm.
I have 100% stopped looking at the screen because I will get sick.
That makes you smarter than us.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's worse if you're not playing.
Also, you could get a little kissy if you want.
How many tables are in this?
3?
We've only been on the one.
Well, we have to see another table. You're gonna finish it.
Like, we watched that video, and I still don't quite know how we progress. Outside of...
You trained!
yeah, I don't know.
It's over. It's over.
I'd love to see what high-level gameplay of that looks like.
Find a task on YouTube.
I'm guessing there is some way to replenish... Oh, nice. Oh, nice, we've got upper and lowercase. There we go.
Yeah, take that, Joel Dubinier, if that is your real name.
I made, like, no progress and I got the high score. Okay. Okay.
All right, go to options. Level. Love, surf, disaster. Hit surf. Let's surf it up. Because I think metagame is you go through all the stages like in progression mode.
Ah, okay.
Maybe this one won't make me want to vomit.
Wishful thinking.
You know what? You can do this in this emulator, right? You can change... You can emulate what it would be like if it was on the M2, right?
Yeah, overclock it a little bit.
Yeah. In a bit, I'd be curious to see...
I don't think we can do that. I don't think... I think that will be so sickening.
Okay. Also, this stage looks... Outside of the aesthetic, looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Surf's up and test your surfing skill. On the ultimate way.
God, that bit looks so cool. Getting on the...
Lane lights, advanced multipliers. Magnetos help you navigate.
Yeah, this is the same goddamn table. With a slightly different coat of paint on it.
I haven't figured out how those magnetos work. There must be like a button you have to press when you're on top of them.
Let's hit the beach!
Do they have the thing off to the... Yeah. Now, that is in a different place.
Yeah.
Fuses.
Great. Totally tubular. I have to save. I have to keep this one in mind for when we do our surfing game night. The announcer is right. This is bitchin'.
Okay, yes, that's always a multiplier. What?
Oh, they called us a bitch.
Jeez. Unless I'm just not realizing what the other buttons do. Like, okay, I know I could tilt left and right, but you actually can't do it too much. Oh, if I press this button, we get to use a drill. I don't know what that does.
Maybe that's the Magneto?
and the other button just pauses.
Sad Key says this would be great with gyro controls.
It's just, if anyone's ever played a game and you're having so much trouble controlling it, your body kind of will tense and you'll start leaning into the directions you're trying to go. That's what this feels like.
You start playing video games like you're someone playing video games on a TV show.
Yep. But the thing I'll do sometimes with games like this is like my legs will cross like harder and harder. I'll just be like tensing. I think I'm done with this one.
Yeah, I don't even want to see the third stage, honestly.
Player one.
I think I'm
That
pinballed
is-
out for the night. Certainly PaTaank out for the night.
Yeah, that is awful.
Yeah, that is something special.
And it's again very simply controlled as far as I can tell. Like it's a, there's that boost forward button. There's whatever the pneumatic drill button does. You press left and right, and then you can tilt.
By the
That's
way,
it.
that is not the lowest rated pinball game on the 3DO.
Oh yeah.
But we'll have to get to that one next time. We'll have to get to that one in the next episode of Painful Pinball, because that will do it for tonight's episode of Painful Pinball. Folks, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for tuning in to this Painful Pinball game stream. You survived. If you made it through that last game to this end screen here, you are made of stern stuff.
Yeah, got through the entire stream without getting tilted.
Well, speak for yourselves. I definitely got a little tilted at points, but that's kind of my nature. It's kind of my gimmick, isn't it? Hot damn. Digital pinball. Seems like a mistake at times. Okay, well, that's obviously performed. That's obviously exaggerated. Obviously, you've had some good games out of it. And obviously, the games tonight, varying in quality. Some of them very obnoxious. Some of them definitely low effort, low rent. But I see what you're doing, Taco.
You get to use that bit one more time, then it's done.
Yes. But the early games, the ones that were trying to give a shape and a form to this nascent digital pinball, video pinball genre, are forgivable in some respects, because that Milton Bradley one, that one can suck me. But it is interesting to see that progression. It's why I like to do things chronological style, why I like to do them in some sort of order. When we return to Painful Pinball at some point, we will start right from 1994 and continue from there into which year, which decade? Who knows? It depends on how many games we get through.
Yeah.
Because we have games running through the 90s, into the 2000s, into the 2010s even, into the 2020s perhaps? They keep making pinball games, and not all of them are good. So some of them are quite bad, so I guess we'll see them in due time. The standouts tonight, I think this is something we need to start doing in our theme and variety streams. Your best and your worst for tonight. I'm going to have Charky start.
All right, well, let me pull up the list again. Okay. Best tonight. Man, I got such a soft spot for Sonic SpinBall.
That's fine. You can pick Sonic SpinBall. This is all personal picks.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sonic SpinBall. I grew up with that game. I love that game. I still think it plays not great, but all right. I like what it's doing. Worst game is PaTaank. Worst game is PaTaank. Everyone's going to say worst game is PaTaank. Worst game is PaTaank.
Don't speak for me.
We'll see. We'll see.
Johnny.
All right. Best game. I think I'm gonna go because, like I said, I've never gelled with Sonic SpinBall personally. So maybe I should give it another go just to see how it feels. But I might say, just based on like the hardware at the time, the Game & Watch Pinball. I think it has like quite enjoyment to it. Though I would put Video Pinball on Atari 2600 second.
Okay.
I think that's one that actually looks worse than it plays.
To be sure, as many 2600 games were. A lot of them were good games.
Yeah.
Oh, can I give honorable mention?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, can I give honorable mention, by the way, to one of them?
Yeah, please.
Video Pinball for being like so early, but actually feeling like better than.
Do you mean the arcade, the home console version?
The arcade.
Okay.
For actually feeling like pinball. It's something that most of these games afterwards did not feel like.
Yes, I think that is a fair statement.
Okay. All right, sorry to interrupt you, Johnny.
No, it's all good. And yeah, I think I'm gonna say PaTaank as well.
For worst.
For worst, though, I would put honorable mention for Hero.
Dishonorable mention, you
Shūgō.
mean?
Dishonorable mention, yeah. Hero Shūgō Pinball Party on Game Boy. That just has fundamentally broken physics in a way that I don't know if I've ever seen in a pinball game that bad before. And you can't blame the hardware for it, because there are some very good pinball games on the Game Boy.
Looking at this list of games we've played tonight, I'm actually in agreement with you, Johnny. I think my winner tonight, looking at this list and looking at the games we played, might be Video Pinball in the 2600. For the time that it came out, I know Game & Watch was your first, and that you said that Video Pinball in 2600 was your second.
They would be very close first and second, though.
Yes, I think I gotta give the edge to the VCS 2600 Video Pinball. They did so much with so little on the hardware. They really pushed it to make that game happen. And I don't know if we were clear enough on that. If we were what's the word I'm looking for? Complimentary, praising enough what that game managed to do with the primitive hardware of the 2600. So that is my pick for best. My pick for worst, I'm giving it to that goddamn Microvision pinball.
Yeah, you didn't want to pick PaTaank because I said everyone was going to pick it, and you were like, I can't pick it now.
No, it's because that Microvision pinball game ain't a goddamn pinball game. It's called Pinball, sure. And it's not a pinball game. Yeah, and it's a bad version of Lockout.
Yeah.
It's a bad...
fundamentally not the thing that it says it is.
Yeah, I think that's why maybe I didn't consider it.
Well, it's precisely why I consider it, because it's false fucking advertising. Because it's not any version of pinball. And for what it is, for a version of Breakout, or like a version of Knock the Ball Against the Wall, it sucks at that. Because it's bad to control, and just generally unpleasant to play and to look at for the Microvision. Innovative as it may have been to be on the first handheld with swappable cartridges, it's still a bad game through and through. It was bad at the time, and it's even worse today.
Yeah, I might feel different if I had actually had hands-on with that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one was keyboard only, keyboard and mouse only, so I couldn't bind it to controllers without doing a lot of extra work. So that's funny
enough, I do have Atari 2600 paddle controls. Don't have an Atari 2600, but I do have the paddle controls, just in case.
Just in case of emergency.
Yeah.
But yes, with that, I think we've covered the games. I think we've given our takes, put things into perspective. As I said, more painful pinball games in the future, not immediately. Give these things a little time to breathe. Give them a little bit of separation between these multi-part dealios. That'll do it for the show tonight. What do we have coming up, one might ask? Good question. Well, we have a fight night coming up on Tuesday. That'll be Cass versus Charky for the 7th installment. We got to pick our games for that sooner rather than later. Note to my co-host here. Thursday is Thanksgiving, and we are no showing on that day. And then Saturday, the 30th, if I play my cards right, if I put my nose to the grindstone, should hopefully be finally the delivery of Episode 1 of Misadventures in Microcomputing. I say all this, and it'll probably not come to pass, and we'll have to delay it even further. But it takes a lot of work. It's more work than I thought it would be. I have to write a lot of history and pick out all the games and figure out how to emulate these old machines. It's a lot of work. We do put a lot of effort into the show, folks. And if you want to help, maybe endorse that effort, consider supporting the show. Consider pledging on Patreon, subscribing on Twitch, or becoming a member on YouTube. Consider joining the Discord server, wherein financial backers will gain access to our Patreon Saints channel for voting on and suggesting upcoming games we play through, theme nights, the whole works. We're incorporating the more input from the fans, and we are also working on delivering new and somewhat exclusive content to our supporters. Is something that we need to really start driving in the near future. We need to start doing more make good on that, making it more of an incentive, because ultimately that is the direction the show is going. Is that we need it to be financially tenable. We do appreciate the fact that it does, that we do have support, that we're not just doing this for the benefit of no one, that we are doing this. We have an audience. I'm really happy that folks show up. I am happy that we do have people who support us, and we're going to do more to make sure that you are feeling seen, that you have direct input on the things we do. So that is going to be the direction. But if you cannot financially support us, we completely understand as well. And we're still doing the shows, obviously, for you, and we enjoy the fact that you enjoy them. Please join the Discord anyway, even if you're not in the Patreon Saints channel. It's still a very active community that we have there, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. If you can't financially support us, but you want to find a way to support us, regardless, we have a playlist on YouTube. It's called Suggested Viewing. It features episodes of the show that we're quite proud of, that we think make for good onboarding to the Bad Game Hall of Fame. So please to consider sharing with your friends and whoever else, enemies, perhaps. Who's to say? We leave that to your discretion. Maybe you know a real pinball wizard in real life. Maybe you have some pinball fanatics in your life. Maybe they'll appreciate this episode. I don't know, I feel pretty good about tonight's show, so I might add this to the suggested viewing. Truth be told, I think this one was pretty good. So expect to see it on there. And barring that, just you're tuning in and watching and commenting in the chat and all that is also deeply, genuinely appreciated. And we love putting this show on for you folks. Let's see who is streaming at this hour. 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday. I spy with my little eye. Ooh, that's too good a game. Don't want to do that. That one is debatably good. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with Slayers X Terminal Aftermath Vengeance of the Slayer, a game I certainly have opinions about, and might soon have a format where I can share opinions on games of that nature. Being played by our friend Hexy Maniac. First-person shooter with some, let's say, PaTaank style aesthetic to it, if you're not familiar. So please to give it a look-see. Please to show them your love and let them know that the Bad Game Hall of Fame sent you. We will get that underway shortly. But again, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. I have been your arcade hall delinquent Cassidy.
I have been supple-wristed Charky.
And I've been your ball and paddle enthusiast, Johnny Baghead.
Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for making Painful Pinball Night one to remember. We'll be back soon. Bye!
Good night, everybody.
Later, skaters.